What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the Lands of Alaire. I'm Ian, the Dungeon Master, and I'm joined here by my friends Tori and Aaron of Joined by Gaming, my younger brother Tyler, and my older brother TJ. What's been up this week, TJ?
Well, I mean, obviously working here at Freakopolis Geekery, but I did start a new show, actually just this morning, so I watched 2 episodes so far. But it was really good. It's called Norseman.
Norseman?
Yeah, it's a Netflix original, but I think in the sense that, like, when they take those shows from, like, BBC or whatever,
right.
and they're the ones that distribute it in the US,
right?
It's a Netflix original, so it's like that, but it's like this Norwegian show. And it's basically a sitcom about Vikings, and it was like, I don't know, it feels a little bit like an SNL skit, just extended.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, there was like a Roman actor who is now a slave, and he like can't deal with the squalid conditions of his new place, and there's this warrior who now owns a big estate, and he's got this hen-pecking wife and stuff. But all in this, like, Viking rapping. Yeah.
That
sounds pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was.
Hilarious.
I found it very funny. Yeah, and I was like, actually, this was pretty good.
What was the name of it again? The title?
Norsemen.
Norsemen.
That's
There you go. Nordlings.
No. But yeah, it is very good.
Awesome.
I'm gonna watch more after this for sure.
Look forward to your continued review.
Yes.
What about you, Tyler? Anything up this week?
Not really, but what I was gonna ask was, how did the bracket go last night?
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah.
Nordl and the Hulk had a really good battle. Hulk ended up being on top because he has a belted frost giant strength.
It's
He's
the Hulk.
absurdly strong.
It's tough to deal with for sure. But if anyone has a chance of beating him, it would have been Darth Vader, who came out on top not a round later with Hold Person, just completely destroyed the Hulk.
The Hulk couldn't do anything.
That makes sense.
Exactly. Like, he's not going to be resistant to that type of magic. So, and Darth Vader's weapon is really good against barbarians because it deals psychic damage.
Right.
If you haven't caught our character creations or our big battle matchups and brackets that we do, that's definitely a show worth looking into as well.
It's on YouTube now.
Yeah, and we also we run it every Saturday at 6:30?
It's like Saturday about 6:30 p.m.
Yeah. Catch it there. And what about you guys? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I actually ran a one-on-one game of Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game.
Nice.
With one of my friends, and that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, you're a huge fan of that system.
Yeah, it's definitely on my top. Yeah.
No.
What is it?
Go ahead.
Was it better than playing board games with us, though? Because that's what you missed out on. No, it's okay. Yeah. We get it.
I definitely plan on playing that, though. That looks really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and on my part, it wasn't quite this week, but Gary Gygax's son, Ernest Gary Gygax Jr., called out me as a DM because of one of our players in the store, and he really thinks that this world evokes the, feeling that they had when they were first sitting down at the table and stuff, and he made me he drew me a cool, I don't know, it's not quite a plaque or anything, but it's pretty sweet, and it was a really nice gift from the son of the dude who made the game. So, that's a good confidence boost as a DM.
That's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you guys got donations thanks to this very show.
Yes.
Which is very cool. So thank you to all you that are helping out that good extra life cause, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. It's all helping children in hospitals pay their medical bills, which is
local hospitals. It stays right in the community.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. You guys ready to jump on in?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Sweet deal. So last we left off, our party went on quite the adventure, finding and defeating the blue-eyed beasts, who happened to not be a beast, but also a man, a druid of sorts from the Wandering Fangs, a long-lost circle of druids from northern Sarangar, who had since broken and been defeated, and this last wandering member came across you guys and decided in the end to lend some help to your end of the battle to defend Helmtop, because he had been picking away at herds and costing the people quite a bit. Right. Then you made your way back to Helmtop, and Captain Dalaran is the city in World of Warcraft, and I knew I would get it mixed up all the time. Doralon, he had told you that the orcs were on their way. The campfires and bonfires had been seen not a day's north of here, and you rallied up the troops and had an epic battle against the orcs' leaders and his ogre bodyguards, essentially. It was very dangerous. You guys just managed to come out on top, and you found out some interesting information in the middle of that battle. Leander overheard that orc yelling something about how Vorakin, the leader of these combined orcish tribes, is somehow a lot like Erlon. Looks a lot like him, acts a lot like him. Though you chose not to share that information.
Yeah, I don't really know what it means yet, and like Leander's kind of keeping it to himself
Fair
until
enough.
he feels like there's a need to share.
Sure. And then you guys made your way back to Helmtop, and Captain Dorlon had told you that you had pretty much earned your freedom. All that was necessary was to make a single stand, break the orcs, defeat their leader, and then it won't be so much of a problem to deal with throughout the rest of the season. And you did that quite successfully. He said that he would send letter to a red wagon to confirm that you guys had either died or survived, and therefore your names are cleared among the kingdom of Farrenwell. And you are no longer conscripts. And that's kind of where we left off, was with you guys making your way back to Helmtop in the dead of the evening.
We also heard Vorakin, the leader of these orcs, was spotted near Loten.
Yes, Jantel, the scout, had made her way back to Helmtop to give her report, and indeed, Vorakin and his followers had been seen in the area. The town's just a bit south of here.
Like a days or like...
Like 3 days.
3 days.
He has a bit of a head start.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we had left off, with Jantel pretty much giving that report. And you guys were inside the Gleeful Lily, right? That's where we were,
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah, that's where she would give her report anyway.
Right.
And she finds a good corner for that, tells you, yes, they had been spotted to the south, and she suspects that he's going to be targeting Loten with that poison. Loten is a large agricultural producer in Sarangar, and it's a bit different as a town in the north, because they don't so much worship Shanti or Mara like they do on the coastline. These people worship Pelor, and the light of the fields is kind of their whole life.
And Pelor is...
Pelor is the god of agriculture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and sunlight, and a few various other domains.
Nature things.
Yeah. Mostly farming. And so, yeah, she reports that to you guys and tells you if there's anything you need to wrap up in Helmtop, I intend to set out tomorrow morning.
I think Leander's probably just ready to get going, start heading south back to Farrenwell, or trying to see what the rest of the world is doing, seeing as we've been kind of trapped conscripted for the past 3 or 4 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, for many of you, like a month and a half or so, and you've been stuck in this valley in which Helmtop resides, just this bulwark against the orcish hordes, as it's considered, and haven't seen too much of the outside world, and it's happening since you were conscripted, so therein lies, you're curious about what's happening out of this damn valley.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, I think Gilroy sort of feels the same way. I mean, I think... I don't know how he feels now that, he was here involuntarily, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he feels any loyalty to try and see this through, sort of thing.
Right.
I can't remember if we answered that last week or not, but, regardless, he's also ready to head south.
Absolutely, yeah. What about you two?
I think Melee assumed that she was still with Gilroy, just back on our original task.
Yeah.
And-
That the work continues on as it had
Yeah.
prior to this crazy happenstance.
Minor setback.
Yeah. That makes good sense, for sure.
I think I want to talk with Melee about that once we sort of
Yeah.
finalize sort of
Yeah.
a plan.
What about Erlon? How is he feeling about being free to go where he pleases, finally?
It's great to feel his shackles free,
Yeah.
but now he's almost shackled to this strange new mystery that's opened up to him.
Absolutely.
Seeing this figure, ice giant figure called the Father. Now he has a lot more questions that he needs answers for.
Yeah, what's the connection there with who you are and the vision that this ice giant seems to have sent your way? And is he a real thing or just a figment of your imagination? Is there a frozen over ice giant somewhere in the world, or is it a symbol of some sort? There's a lot going through your mind on that.
Yeah.
Chantel says that she will be on the road awaiting your approach tomorrow morning. She seems very restless.
Okay.
And that leaves you in the Gleeful Lily. I won't cut over to the map because we probably won't be here too long, but
Sure.
there is Zorn, Bilberry, Olerin, Zelryan, and the captain all drinking away. There is a bit of festivity after the success of this battle. Seems that losses were pretty minimal, and now the people are pretty confident in their ability to survive the season, especially with that first bulwark. And they're drinking away of that wine that you guys got.
You have the amulet, right? From Bilberry?
I do have the amulet.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Bilberry had given
We had that
you
before
that,
we
and you have been keeping your minds on it. You're
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to let it out of sight or anything. You know it's important.
Yeah. Keeping it close.
Absolutely. Anyone you guys want to talk to in there?
I would like to talk to Zorn.
Sure. They're kind of in their back table, as they usually are, talking over the battle, and Olerin and Bilberry in particular are bandaged up, and they seem to be surviving for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Gilroy will approach the table and sort of nod at all of them, and I land on Zorn finally and say, Zorn, I have a word.
Of course, Gilroy.
Right, so we can take
Yeah,
it
you
apart
guys
from
make
that.
your way to a darker corner.
Yeah. And maybe I let my mind slip, and Silas is let out of the.
Sure. Floats there for a moment, yeah. Which catches Zorn's eye, because I don't think he's quite so acquainted.
Right.
But he doesn't seem to question it so much.
And Gilroy said, I saw what you were capable of on that battlefield earlier.
Yes, I thought I'd never have to use those magics again. I swore them off, but you and your friends convinced me now was the time to use them, if any.
I'm certainly glad you were there. What was it? Scorching Ray?
Scorching Ray, yes. It's not too far out of your grasp. Soon enough, you'll find yourself making such maneuvers.
Well, I was hoping that maybe we could expedite that, and you could let me have a look at that spell book. And, just copy from one to another, just,
Throw a persuasion roll.
Okay. I have +2. 19.
Ooh. I'm guessing, and he's handing it over as he says this. He goes, I'm guessing it's not very standard in other parts of the world to look through another wizard spellbook, but I know you're a trustworthy folk, Gilroy.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, for me, it feels quite natural, but I know you gained this knowledge in solitude, so I understand your hesitation. But I do thank you. Now, have you given any thought into my offer?
I certainly have, but, well, we're gonna have to see where the road takes us. It's a few hundred miles from here, no?
Yes, at the very least.
Quite a journey.
Well, I appreciate your time. I'll get this back to you spick and span.
I'm putting my trust in you, Gilroy. You promise me you'll never use those spells for evil.
Of course.
And yeah, no, it has...
Silence goes...
it has some third-level evocation spells, such as Fireball. Scorching Ray is a second level.
Yeah, I think Gilroy is basing a lot of the spells, especially damage-dealing ones, off stuff he's seen other people do.
Definitely.
Like Melf's Acid Arrow is sort of based off that. There's a couple others that were sort of contingent on having seen like warriors use them in battle.
Absolutely.
So Scorching Ray in particular, saw it in use, thought it was awesome.
Want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Yeah, you could copy over Scorching Ray.
Okay.
But you're going to be spending a lot of the evening doing that.
Oh yeah, totally.
What do you guys going to do then?
Probably share a drink with the lads.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And they're elated
Oh, yeah.
to have a drink with you and to enjoy the evening instead of having worry about being sent out any hour now and having such a battle ahead.
I'd like to talk to Leander, actually, for a minute, if I could. So I move over on the stool next to you,
Yeah.
and I say, you fought bravely, Leander.
It was on your side.
Thank you for the help against... I wasn't sure how that was going to go with the other orc. But I'm glad we came out on top.
Me as well. It came close.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
And I kind of like lean in a little bit more, and I go, I have a more pressing concern, however.
Anything.
Have you ever heard of, seeing as you're a religious man, a being known as the Father?
You could, if you want to, throw a religion or history check, but I will tell you this one's not going to be easy.
Okay. A 10.
I'm afraid not.
No.
Sometimes tear.
Yeah, right. Perhaps we can talk more of this later. Maybe I can help pick your mind.
Alright. And you see he's just like sweating a little
Mhm.
bit. He goes back to his drink.
I'll find something.
Alright. Thank you. Thank you, friend.
What about you, Melee? Just chilling at the
Probably
bar?
just drinking, yeah. She doesn't feel overly she doesn't have this great big mystery going on
No,
like
not at the
everyone else
moment.
seems to have going on.
No, yeah.
Gilroy's busy with his books, so she's just enjoying a drink or two.
Sure. Keeping a little eye out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does definitely want to, you know, figure out sort of your plan. He is concerned with that because been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe if you wanted to interrupt him, that would be totally cool. Or I could make, you know, finish this up after some point and
Totally.
approach.
You have pretty much a small table to yourself.
Right.
Because you and Zorn had separated anyway, and then when you're given the spell book, that's not really something you open up right in front of everyone. So
yeah, totally. All right, so you know, after a couple hours or whatever, I finish up.
Sure.
I forget, it's like an hour per level or something.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of the night for sure.
Yeah. And then I suppose not the most comfortable at the bar. It's just not, you know, where Gilroy would take his sit.
No.
So maybe he finds an open chair next to Melee,
Mhm.
and I think he just like hands over a small pouch of 50 gold.
Without a word?
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I'll take it, but what's this for?
Service is rendered, of course.
You no longer in need of...
No, this was just the, you know, it's been some time now. I don't know how I managed to hold on to this, but, yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the help you've given me, and in particular.
Do you think you want to head down and find out about the poison in the river, or do you think you want to go your own way?
That's certainly been weighing on my mind. I find, you know, our newfound friends to be quite extraordinary people, and if what they say about this Vorakin is true, well, he might not be a prime candidate. He's definitely worth finding more about, I think.
If I can keep the people in the valley from being hurt, I'd like to see it through. If you don't mind holding off a little longer.
And Dorlon comes up behind you too, puts a hand on each of your shoulders, slaps them on down hard with his it's so dirty and bloody after that.
Talir?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He actually has two last names. I never really went into that. Captain Talir Dorlon.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he smacks his hands down. I know, like 10 hours in, and I never really explained that.
No secrets, that's good.
Yeah.
I always saw it on the map, and I was like, you know.
He goes, how's it going here? It's good to see you alive. I really appreciate your help back there.
You were quite impressive.
Thank you. I told you you'd want me on your side when the orcs came.
We're very happy to have you.
He truly seems to be a little bit elated. Like, this is what he was waiting for. Went pretty well.
Guy's gotta wait a whole another year, though.
Yeah. Like, well, he explains, he goes, for that of the regiment that wants to stay around in Helmtop, I'll be continuing to command them. Make sure that the folks around here stay safe, but by tomorrow morning, you should be totally cleared, free to go where you please.
You see, Gilroy, like, relax for the first time. Jesus.
I remember when we first met, Gilroy. You were not certain about yourself.
No, and I'm still not, but having made it through that, I'm certainly looking forward to what comes next.
I'm glad to hear it. And you, Melee, well, could use your help next year, for certain.
I'd have to check my schedule.
Big old Gregorian calendar whipped out. And, he goes along drinking and just merriment about with him and the remainders of the regiment.
Yeah, probably in the background, Leander's probably trying to, he knows some of these guys are like cutthroats.
Sure,
Yeah. He's probably trying to incite some, you've done good, a righteous man will always raise his hand and, protect the innocents, and he's trying to really get these guys to believe they did something good here.
Yeah.
Maybe stick around and see it through.
Sure, yeah. See if they can gain some discipline through.
Yeah,
through
maybe
their service here.
Tillier can get through to him and.
He seems to be the shining beacon among this situation. Is the fact that they actually have an experienced commander.
Yeah.
And he's really dedicated to his battalion, even if they are of the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
Even Erlon finds him like a legend pretty much now. Just watching him fight in that.
Yeah,
incredible.
it was impressive. He's definitely a veteran of many battles. You could tell that. But you do also wonder, because you can see, I haven't really described so much as armor, but there is tattered remains of red fabric, which those of you who have been around Farrenwell would know that would suggest that he was once a soldier for Farrenwell, and yet he's up here nearly a conscript like the rest of you.
Mm-hmm.
But you've seen he's very proficient in battle. Why would he be sent up? Though you've never really questioned that. The thought does cross your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Was anyone sitting with Zorn and Ulrin and Bilberry? Was that you?
I suppose I'd be around.
As you make your way around, yeah.
Yeah.
Bilberry looks up at you and he goes, so friend, are you going south soon?
I think in the morning we'll be heading out.
That's our plan as well. If you don't mind, we'd love to tag along.
I see no harm in it.
Excellent. Of course, and he kind of whispers in. Still a smile on his face, weirdly enough, despite the fact that he knows the direction you're going is the opposite of the direction he wants to be going.
Right.
He goes, I'm not going to be hanging around in any taverns like I have been around here. We're gonna have to find a little spot for me to hide out for a bit if we make our way too far south.
I'm sure you'll have no trouble with that, Bilberry. You can fit in anywhere.
I'll do my best. You stay safe too, Leander. You're a good man.
We'll see you in the morning.
Sounds good. And he takes Zorn and Ulrin and they retire for the evening.
Yeah.
It is winding down indeed. Reharit and Lyra are cleaning the last of the mugs as they tend to be, and just sitting down, drinking wine simultaneously and talking with each other. Anything more you guys want to do in here?
Not tonight, no.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You guys all set?
I think we're all set.
Cool. So you guys make your way to your beds as given to you by Reharit, and have a good night's sleep before awakening to the rooster calls and the morning sunlight. And there's not too much commotion outside. Seems like a pretty quiet day up here in Helmtop. A nicer one, in fact.
Right. I suppose Leander's got his bag and everything ready, waiting at the door.
Absolutely.
Is Jantel there?
Jantel said that she would be awaiting on the road.
All right.
So yeah, she's already to the east of town.
Okay.
So I approach everybody and go, is there anything we need before we go? This will be our last chance of civilization for a little bit before we need to provision up again.
I think they could run me a bath.
You might want to pay them a little extra for that.
Do you ask?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, a barmaid. Rahara has a barmaid run off, make a nice warm bath.
Sweet. Next shot is Gilroy's robe falling to the ground. Silas sitting in the bath, just bobbing.
Just dunks himself.
You make a bubble beard on him?
A much cleaner Silas. Very nice. What are you guys doing while Gilroy takes a bath? No, it's a big wooden tub.
Sweet.
Probably be looking at the stables, waiting around outside, like
Sure.
tapping my foot, waiting for.
That's where Olerin and Bilberry and Zorn
Yeah.
end up as well. Is they make their way just outside of the Gleeful Lily and go near the stables, awaiting your guys' approach. Anything from Ailey and Erlon?
Do you need to get more arrows or anything? Do you think you're okay?
Yeah, I should probably.
Sure, yeah. Check that stuff out. So do you go to the Hunter's Exchange or Hallenhalt's General Goods?
Hunter's Exchange, that's where the
That's
kid
where the
was
arrows
with
was at, yeah.
I'll go there.
Liam Fletcher and the
That's
Arrow Stall. It's a great name for an arrow making kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So he has the blue fletched ones, which are just +1. They're magical, and they do +1 to damage and to hit. He has the green fletched ones, which you know are poisonous. The red fletched ones, which explode in fire, deal an extra d6 fire damage. Then he has two-headed blue fletched ones that are magical arrows, but it works as if you had made 2 attacks in one go. And then a very intricately carved vine shaft, he calls it, which he claims will entangle people you shoot at. So, any of those?
I wanted to get some of the magic. Those are the blue ones.
Yeah, they're 15 gold apiece.
Okay.
Math.
How much for the vine ones?
That would be 100 gold. They're by far the most magical. It's a very ancient technique.
I'll take one.
All right. He only has 3, so you
Gotcha.
know, like, legitimately, these ones take a long time for him to make.
Cool. They were pretty helpful last time, so
Yeah, they did tie down an ogre.
yeah. So I definitely want to get another one.
Absolutely.
Just seeing that.
I'll do 5 of the magic ones.
Okay.
And then how much were the regular arrows?
Regular arrows, I think, are 20 arrows for 10 gold. Non-magical regular-ass arrows.
Makes sense.
I'll get 40 more of those.
Okay, yeah, stock up on them. Anything else down at the Hunter's Exchange or in town?
Take a last look at that worm head.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah, and Garen Brown is there. As you approach the Woodsman's Guild, make your way into that small stone building and look at all the trophies. And he looks up at you and goes, I had heard about your bravery. What a feat you got.
We beat him back this time.
Should make the rest of the season easier on us.
Perhaps we'll meet again someday.
I would hope so. If you ever make your way back up to Helmtop, I'll be here.
We'll see you around.
Take it easy. And, he too is just glancing, at that white dragon wormling head. It is, in fact, his most important possession.
Should be proud of it.
Yeah. Anything else? All set. Then you guys embark. To the road, you meet up with Zorn, Bilberry, and Olerin first, and then Gentel, who has already made her way about a mile south and is beginning to kind of trek her way up into the hills and fjords that lead out of the valley and away from the Algor Range. And you guys traveled this road for 3 days. It's quite a journey. With this whole group marching along, you do see a few merchants who are making their way south, usually, from hamlets, and had collected their furs, a few fur carts. Otherwise, the roads are pretty clear, and no one seems to bother you. And you spend your evenings camping roadside mostly. There's no taverns along the road this far north.
So maybe one of those nights, we're out there sitting by the fire. Silas is snapping away at bugs
Sure.
off in the distance, and we're kind of just resting our feet. I think Gilroy is interested in particular, the spirit that has been appearing when Erlon rages.
Mhm.
He's noticed it in the past, and so yeah, maybe one of those nights I don't know if he knows quite. You're very uncivilized, and Gilroy's a little more, learned and stuff. So it's maybe a bit of an awkward conversation for him. But it's like I noticed that apparition. When you get real angry.
Yes, I've been praying to my ancestors for a long time, and I think recently my prayers have been answered. To what gain, I do not know.
So, it's an ancestor, but you don't know quite who.
Not to my knowledge. I hadn't seen anybody really that had been described
No,
to me.
it's pretty nondescript at
Yeah.
the moment.
Okay.
You haven't quite gotten the details in. In fact, it could be an elf from way back on that side of the family, or a human barbarian ancestor, or something along those lines. You
Gotcha.
figure, as you continue to use it, you'll probably get more detail out of it.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure who exactly from my past it could be, but I'm glad for their aid.
And so it's both sides of your heritage then.
As far as I can tell, I feel like I've seen some with some elven features a little slimmer, and then one of the other times a much more bulky man or woman. I'm not sure, but I definitely need to think upon it more.
Most interesting. I know what it's like to have something thrust upon you, seemingly everywhere you go.
Silas snaps a dragonfly behind your head and floats off.
I can only hope they're a boon to us. Well, I hope you find some clarity in that. It has me intrigued.
I as well. I'm glad you came over. I actually had a question for you as well.
Is that right?
I've been putting it off, but I have to know. What were your intentions with that ooze gate? It spelled trouble for me, and it didn't seem like anything good could come of it, and your rationale made me, not going to lie, made me question it a little bit. But we have fought together, so we are bonded, and, but it did concern me. Am I going to have to worry about dangers to me or our group in the future?
Truth be told, I revel in the mystery of things. I recognize that gate posed a great threat to us and potentially the land, but I truly believed it could be harnessed and used for civilization's sake, and I think, I can get a bit in over my head sometimes. Once I see something I need to unravel, almost nothing will stop me. But I promise I will try to be a bit more even-headed about it in the future.
I appreciate it. I will have your back, but if you endanger anybody, I will have to step in. If it becomes too much. You will have warning beforehand. Do not worry.
Thank you for that. Maybe that's a good thing.
Zorn takes a seat next to you guys, probably on a log next to the campfire, and goes, "What's this about?"
We've had interesting days. A lot has happened. Both parts of our past and now future seem to be colliding, and I believe together we can discover the truth.
Yeah. We, I think we can tell them about the Ooze Gate, right?
Yeah.
We helped to close it.
I don't know anything about that, so that's...
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Erlon's like, oh, man.
I just know it's news.
Well, in our time at Helmtop, the party managed to check off a few bounties.
I'd seen.
Yeah. It felt good. And, well, one of them really unraveled into something else. We cleansed the shrine we were told to cleanse, but underneath we discovered a colleague of mine had been working to restore a gate. One of many gates. Only this one was attuned to the ooze realm at the moment.
Interesting. I never heard of such a thing. I'm not too learned in the planar studies for certain. But evocation, I'm your man.
Yeah, so I've seen.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
It was. As far as I could tell, I think, with the help of my colleagues and my order, I think we could contain it.
It sounds like something Mythica would have done. You ever heard of that place?
Can I roll?
Sure, yeah, you can roll an intelligence check. In fact, roll it at advantage.
Does history work?
Yeah.
I guess it's the same value, so. 17.
Yeah, no, you've definitely heard of Mythica. It's where the Pale Council, the most powerful arcane spellcasters, used to convene in this magic city-state that has, in the past few decades, seemingly gone missing. A lot of foolish treasure hunters are known to go out and spend their fortunes looking for it. No one has seemed to have found it yet. And so it's slowly beginning to fade into the realm of, like, fairy tale kind of nature. And Zorn tells you, he goes, Mythica, I used to read about it. It was one of those tales that kept you going when the days are hard. And the arcing towers and crystal bridges, I can envision it, but I could only imagine what it looks like. And they had a tendency to attempt such powerful magics as teleportation. I think you may have stumbled across some of their works.
That's quite astute, Zorn. I think you very well could be onto something, and I think that, well, personally, the idea of Mythica and great magics, they're not as far away as you might think.
Well then, I'm glad I came across you, Gilroy. Happy to be part of this crew.
I'm glad you're headed south with us. You certainly proved yourself on the battlefield.
And he goes pretty quiet after that, definitely contemplating on what arcane things he might have missed out on around here. Now that he's a free man, he's capable of looking into all sorts of new stuff now. He doesn't exactly know what his next endeavor will be, but he knows that it's with you guys, and with Olerin and Bilberry. And Bilberry hops up next to you, Melee. It goes, you doing alright?
Yep.
I saw Gilroy hand you quite a bit of gold. I was a little jealous because I was definitely going to pilfer that gold, but I'm also curious. What's that for?
Gilroy needed some protection.
Yeah.
He hired me to do it.
Sounds like Gilroy definitely needs the protection. And I don't think I've ever seen an archer quite as good with a bow as you, but I'd up your rates, honestly.
No, there's more you could do than pilfer gold. You have your own skills. I saw you jump on that orc's back in battle. There's a few things you could accomplish.
I try my best. I do say my family is known to be rather brave. They used to call me a what is it? Livelyfoot, something like that. It's it's those halflings who just can't get enough of the craziness out there in the world. And so when I left home to try and solve our problems, well, some would call me foolish, but I would say that was very brave, right?
Maybe a little foolish.
Yeah, it hurt in the end, but it definitely hurt him too. And he's cooking away. Bilberry's making sausages and stuff. This is food that he has still stolen from Zalryan that he just kept as rations.
Oh,
And
alright,
yeah,
that's fine.
sticks them on some sticks and cooks them away on the open fire. And hands you some bread and a sausage and stuff, and seems to just be buddying up with you. Olerin will go over next to Leander. Goes, the town we're coming up on is, well, it's quite a holy place, actually.
I've heard that. Yeah.
The folk there are quite devoted.
I can respect the worship of the nature gods.
Yeah, no, they seem like good people, for certain. Where I came from, Nold, that town, it's not too far from Loten. In fact, a lot of the locals refer to them as brother and sister town. Loten makes a lot of the agriculture, and Nold is where we used to refine a lot of the metals from Tier, the dwarf fortress that they gave up because no gold in there, but it was full of iron. I don't quite get it. Anyway, my father used to send me up that way to get some carts of vegetables, and a lot of their folk used to come our way to get some horseshoes and whatnot. And it's a nice place. I think we'll be pretty safe there. I'm just hoping that whoever this orc is and what this poison he has, I hope he doesn't get to use it.
I sure hope so as well. I think we'll make it. If we move fast enough.
That's what I'm hoping as well. I think it's not too much more than a day out from here. Though my memory's a little fuzzy. Been up in that valley for weeks now. A week at least.
What are your plans, Olerin?
I want to go home. But I've heard Bilberry struggles, and I know Zorn's looking for something that will drive him on. And I'm not sure if that's me, but I can't just leave them be on their own in the world, so if they need me, I'll keep going with them. Bilberry keeps telling me that he's got some friends down here. Folks of a organization, something about a purple shield, or I don't really remember too much, but he said they were good. He said that if need be, they could get us somewhere safe.
You're a good man, Olerin. Stay loyal. I think they need you.
I think he looks over at the rest of your party in particular, he goes, I think they need you too. Well, keep at it. Bilberry hands him a sausage, which he bites right into. Jantel is wide awake, as usual, and her bright eyes are looking out, just scanning around the roadside, making sure that there's not too much coming our way. And she goes, someone's coming. Be cautious. And she knocks an arrow, but doesn't draw it. And you see a cloaked figure, a green cloak with a couple of gold outlines that shine a little bit in the starlight, but not so much that you can tell what they're actually depicting. And he's kind of hobbling his way with a staff.
My hand goes immediately, just
Sure.
slightly, just kind of waiting until it gets closer.
Hail!
Looks up and pulls off the hood, revealing that he is a half-orc much like you. His tusks are a bit dirtier and not as well taken care of, and his hair is long strands of thin white hair. Balding in a few spots, but he looks up at you and goes, hello there.
Come, sit, join us by the fire.
Can I use insight?
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
Can I assess this guy?
It's Vorakin.
10.
It's definitely old. It's definitely a half-orc.
Can I?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, if anyone wants to roll insight, you can go ahead.
Sure.
17.
Roll d20.
Yeah, roll a d20, and then it's plus your wisdom unless you're skilled in insight.
Plus your,
17?
well, no,
Yeah.
your wisdom. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes.
17.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she did better than me.
And Leander, what'd you get?
17.
Yeah, so you two, you can definitely see, and Leander in particular, mainly you see that, yeah, definitely an older man, definitely frail, but by the mud along his boots and his hands and whatnot, he works the fields to some degree. Leander, you know, as he approaches, you see just a little bit of the symbolism along his cloak, and no doubt, those waving grain fields and stuff,
Right.
that's Pelor stuff right
Yeah.
there. So yeah, you can pretty much draw that as he sits on down and takes a seat by the fire. And everyone just kind of has a circle around this bonfire at the moment. And he goes, Vorak Grawl is my name. It's good to meet you, folk.
It's good to meet you as well. Where are you headed?
Well, I'm making my way around the local fields, giving my blessings.
It's very noble of you.
You journeying into Loten?
Yes, that is the plan. Any news?
Well, when was the last time you were around?
5-6 weeks ago?
Sometime. Not too much has changed, so we hear from Helmtop. The Orcish hordes shouldn't be so difficult to deal with. I think with help from Nold, we should be quite safe this season. And otherwise, the crops are looking quite good.
Aye, yeah, the orcs shouldn't be a problem.
So I've heard. Pretty quiet as of late these days. Definitely a little bit lost in thought.
Does it look like when he's lost in thought, there's something on his mind?
A
that
little
he's holding
bit,
back
yeah.
a little?
Like,
Okay.
when he's referring to current events, you don't know quite how far back he's reaching for it. So
Yeah.
when he says, like, 6 weeks ago, nothing might have happened 6 weeks ago, but maybe 2 years ago something happened that's, weighing on him, or 10 years ago, or whatever. So that just kind of conversation drew him back in time. And after a moment, he looks up at you and goes, when you make your way to town, let Laren Green know that you have my blessing. Laren's the head priest of Pelor. About the closest thing we have to a leader in the town. Folk look up to him.
I appreciate that. I don't want to stop you from doing your rounds.
It's good to take a rest. I appreciate you being here. You look like, you must have been conscripts at some point, right?
I should say so. We were actually at the head of the last Orcish invasion.
And yet here you are. It must be by Pelor's will that you've made your way to us.
I'm sure they all had a hand in it. The gods. Another way we could have beat those orcs. By the way, have you seen any hooded men?
In my rounds, I caught view of some strange folk in the forest, but they seem to be staying to the outskirts of town. I thought of them as no more than local bandits, but, well, it's not in my part to question the Midnight Corps.
Ah. Well, we appreciate it.
Of course.
I'm sure we'll see you around.
They may be looking to desecrate your fields and streams and woods.
Mm.
So
So you're saying they're not of the Corps?
no.
I'll let you know if I see anything. I cover a lot of ground around here, so.
Which direction were they when you last saw them?
They were a bit north of Loten, through the fields, across the rivers that lead into the Oren Lake. It's just a small pond in the middle of town, but it is a good way to find your way to Loten if you're out in the wilds.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, when you do go into town, the priests of Pelor are good men, I'll tell you that for certain, but the Midnight Court has definitely put a lot of their influence in the area as of late. East Hill Iron Mine is under Sibelius's possession now. I do not like the man, but I personally have not seen anything to condemn him, so I permit him to live within our walls, but it is difficult.
We'll keep it in mind. Now I'm guessing he's an old half-orc,
Yeah,
which could mean...
he's like 50.
Right, I was gonna say like 45 or something.
Yeah.
You know.
No, he's a legitimately old half-orc,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's like 50 years old.
Yeah. Oh, this is troubling.
I would be cautious.
I was happy to be free of the stranglehold the Branwellians had on us. But now, so much more to take care of.
Well,
Leander seems a bit troubled with a lot of things. Heading south doesn't seem as freeing as it did, you know, when they were at Helm Top.
sure. Absolutely. The Rock, he stands up, gives a little bow to you all. Bilberry stuffs some bread in his pockets, sleight of hand some into his pockets, and yeah, he goes, if you're looking for me, I tend to the fields at night. I'll find you.
You will not stay with us? We may need protection in these troubled times.
I can stay quiet. Don't you worry about me. Oh, and don't cross the Brighton Bridge when it's cloudy out. That's another important piece of local info.
Why is that?
Some time ago, it became a place not to be trifled with, and easy enough to avoid. But if you see the signs, Brighton Bridge, it's a cloudy night, you're gonna want to stay away.
What evil lurks there?
No, you're really taking this as a challenge.
No, it's just very vague and very...
Yeah. And very intentionally so.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really want to go into the detail of it. And when you ask him that, he takes a deep breath. And, I'm sorry, I don't feel right talking about it. But, well, maybe ask the other priests. They'll know more than I. All I know was some tragedy brought about that part of the land being corrupted in some way, and I make my way around it. So should you. And with that, he begins to hobble off with his walking stick, and pretty much cuts right across the road and into the forest. And then you can hear him make his way back further south and to the fields down that way.
What a strange man. Tending the fields at night? That's suspicious.
You could make a perception check if you kind of like follow him as he goes.
No, I'm stubborn.
Sure, fair enough.
I've stopped.
Erland isn't really, outsiders confuse him easily. He doesn't
Right,
live too far
absolutely.
from home, so he's just like, that's weird.
That is really weird, yeah. Like, what do the crops need at night?
Yeah. What can the
Correct.
moon provide that the sun cannot?
Right.
That is interesting. Pelor is sunshine, and
And he's out at night? Mm-hmm.
but he's a half-orc. They can see in the dark.
He can.
You know.
Gilroy's just like, I've stopped questioning holy men's practices.
Let us not dwell on dark things. We should celebrate our continued group and our health, and we'll do the best we can.
I can
Sounds
cheer to
good.
that.
And do you guys want to do anything else that night?
No, I think I'm good.
Coolio. So the morning sun arises once again, and you guys set out on the road, making your way south. And as you approach the town of Loten, you make your way past a great many fields of crops, of course. But you do see within the middle of each of these fields is a statue, a stone statue, very much so the depiction of Pelor, but he's holding a bowl, and behind the bowl, facing outward, is kind of a depiction of the sun. And you can see that some of those bowls are running low on oil. They have this bit of flame that comes around him. And so you connect two and two and presume that Darak was refilling the oil on these shrines that they have throughout the crops. Also, another example of these people's incredible devotion to Pelor. Every field has a large stone statue of the guy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And so you guys make your way into the town of Loten.
Ooh,
Yeah.
a new map.
Yes, a new town map. Which has a few different areas of interest for certain.
Too far.
And you make you guys make your way in from that top left road, where the southern road suddenly curves to the east a little bit as the mountains and fjords flatten out into this farmland.
Right.
Definitely not a particularly huge town, but certainly an agricultural powerhouse for Sarangar. And you see, most of the buildings circle around this central small lake pond that a few people are fishing at and relaxing around in the sun. And that's about the extent. It's a very normal looking town otherwise. With the exception of one notable structure that really draws your eye to it, obviously a temple of Pelor, a large white stone temple.
Cool.
Suppose we should head there if we want answers.
No, sure.
Describing.
Yeah, no.
somewhere.
Well, as you guys walk along down the way, making your way more towards the center of town, you do see one smallish storefront. The sign atop it says Sing Salter Inventions. And you hear a few loud pops and cracks and weird jingles and stuff from within there. And it seems like the windows have a bit of soot that exploded from the inside and hit the windowsills. And definitely a interesting looking shop. But otherwise, the rest of the area is pretty dang normal. You also have, the temple. Beside the temple, do you guys see those? Yeah, you see the 1s and 2s and 3s and stuff.
Yeah.
Just making sure. So 1 there is Sing Salter Inventions. 2 is a small tavern, small darkly lit tavern that has a red sign hanging on top of a very faded green and blue striped sign. The green and blue one, if you were to kind of lift up the red one and give it a look, you could imagine it depicts the rivers flowing through Sarangar, but of a very simplistic, minimalistic, sigil kind of way to do it.
Right.
And the red one on top is definitely Farewellian. The paints came from Farewell, so it's kind of a cover over ever since the occupation. And the sign says Quran on Dune, which for those of you who speak Elvish, which would be Erlon mostly, and Melee as well.
I do.
And-
We all do.
Wow, everyone speaks Elvish?
Yeah.
Holy crap. That sign means the Red Sunset. Good name for a tavern. And you guys also see, not too far across the way from the center of town, the central well, is the Temple of Pelor. Yeah, large white temple, very classic design. Further along down the road in the very kind of bottom right of the map there is Thaladin's Forge. It's a very industrial-looking building with a smithy ringing out from within it. Definitely a lot of dwarves working around there too, with dirty blacksmith's aprons. 4 down this way is Madame Williver's Northern Herbs and Medicines.
That's 4.
Yep.
Okay.
7, or actually 4 is, my bad, 4 is the Acolyte's Garden. That is where a lot of the priests of Pelor, and you see that a lot of people here are Acolytes of Pelor, not every one of them a priest, but at least a practitioner to some degree.
Right.
That's where they get to relax when you've actually been initiated. And then, yeah, the 7 is Madame Williver's Northern Herbs and Medicines.
I was gonna say she has quite the space.
Yeah, absolutely. You do also notice that a lot of these people maintain gardens, like in Hilltop. Definitely a symptom of lands that are attacked by orcs. You keep a garden instead of having a huge farm on the outside of town.
Makes sense.
And finally, one I had forgotten to mention.
8?
Yeah, 8 up there. Appears to be a fighting ring.
Up there.
Up
up there.
Top right, yeah. Appears to be a ring where people are really cheering and excited and kind of having a really good time up by this stone roughly constructed ring.
So people there fighting now?
Yeah, actually, it's going on right now. Throughout the afternoon, it seems. And there's a man with a bell who rings them out at the beginning of every round, and yeah, it seems to be like the local fun thing to do is beat the crap out of each other.
They're farmers.
Yeah.
Do any of them look like they could match me?
Are you gonna go up and investigate? Check it out a little?
I'll come back. I think we have more pressing matters.
Yeah,
but
no, it definitely
I'm definitely
something.
looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, it
like-
catches your eye.
Yeah.
You do see. Throw me a perception real quick. We'll
Sure.
just see if you passively saw this going your way through.
9.
A 9? Hard to miss. There is one contestant there that looks monstrously big. You do not know who he is or what his deal is, but he is a huge guy. And you look at that, and instead of being intimidated like many locals would be, you think, oh, that's a good fight waiting to happen right there.
Nice.
Well,
Excuse me. Yeah, there's a lot to check out. If you
Leader.
guys would like to, yeah.
this is a little closer to, I can tell we're heading south now.
Yeah,
That's good.
definitely.
What's first, guys?
I think Leander's determined to head to the temple. He's got his mind set on it, but you know, he's just marching on ahead.
Sure.
If you guys want
Yeah, you do that, Leander. I'd really rather not.
to.
The temple's... I don't know.
Might be able to learn something.
It's true,
Study
but
other
yeah,
ways of life.
anything in there is found in a book. Yeah, they give me the heebie-jeebies. So
It's the technical learned one. It's the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, no, if anything really would catch your eye around here, Gilroy, it would be Sing Salter Inventions.
yeah, definitely. I don't know that I am like immediately heading there, but it for sure. was
Yeah.
like-
I will follow you, Leander.
Yeah.
So I don't feel these people have done nothing wrong, but I don't know. Everybody seems very strong in their passions, and I feel like I'd be safest around you.
Yeah.
All right. Just very quickly,
Yeah.
I want to get. So, like, they head to the temple, like across this little bridge or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little covered bridge next to a flour mill.
I think, while they're in there, before this scene or whatever, Gilroy is going to walk to the edge of the water
Okay.
and take a sample.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
From what you can see right now, normal as water. But if you were to do some alchemical tests on it, you could figure out more properties. on
Yeah,
it.
I think I will. We'll get there.
Certainly, no one seems sick, nor do the fields seem to be dying.
Sure,
Like,
yeah. Just gives me a baseline
Absolutely.
potentially.
Yeah. The control water.
Yeah, exactly.
This is good
People
water.
are dying around him later on in like 2 weeks, and he's just like, I could tell. It's bad.
No doubt about it.
I feel like this is a Lordaeron thing that's bound to happen. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, sure. Trust me, there's more than enough parallels. You can't really avoid them.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you guys make it to the very kind of town center by the central well, which is a fine well, by the way. Of course, the acolytes put a lot of work into it and sculpted out a farmer. Of course, he's carrying a wheelbarrow-esque thing in front of him and is moving a bushel of grain. Surprise, surprise. Very classic, yeah. Much like you would expect it to look. What were you guys gonna converge on? You can go separate ways if you'd like. Just know that I have to juggle the maps and stuff.
I think me and Erlon were set on going to the temple.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna hang with Gilroy. Can I hang with Silas, actually?
Sure.
Can I chill with him?
Yeah, totally. Maybe we're like by this little grove here, those couple trees.
Totally.
I don't know how these people will handle silence. Would that be fair? Would I be perceptive enough to? I mean, I am a suspicious person by nature, out of my own.
Definitely,
Place,
I think you would know. Silas is. He looks inherently evil. You know he's not, but the look is definitely
Even
evil.
the hat softens it.
That's true. He does have a straw hat on. So
Maybe that will woo the locals.
You guys definitely noticed that for some reason. Like Erlon is super confident in battle, but now he's like probably one of his most uncomfortable.
Yeah, like in the social. Yeah.
Right, in a town. Ooh.
I think, you could probably get away with, hanging with Silas while I dive into my, non-studies.
Yeah. While you guys are breaking off, going in your kind of separate directions for the moment, Gentel tells you that I'm going to be scouting about throughout the day, and I'll tell you if I see anything. I'm going to be heading over to Nold and probably running back by this evening, so stay safe.
Where will you meet us, and what time?
The Quran and Dune, and it should be make my way to Nold and back. Might be later in the evening, around midnight or so.
Okay. Be
When
safe.
I like to give my reports. And then she runs off immediately like she does. Zorn, Bilberry, and Olerin say, we're gonna, Olerin tells you anyway. Bilberry says he's not so confident in staying in the tavern around here, given that some of the folks are the ones that might be looking out for him. He says he knows some friends that live by the lake, that boathouse over there. If you need us, we'll be there.
Sounds good.
And so they make their way, over that way, and you do see them being greeted by two young humans, who one is rather fat and pudgy, and the other is a bit too skinny, but they actually, give Bilberry a hug and lead him on in, and it seems like a very warm embrace, kind of reunited friendship type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, that building you note is, there's no candlelight coming from inside. It looks abandoned otherwise, other than the fact that those few folk live in there. And so I'll cut us over to the temple first, and then we'll go to the grove. And I'm going to have to lead a few of you guys out of here.
I'm practically stepping on your heels the entire way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Maylee's not there, nor is Gilroy, but Leander and Erlon, you two are. And within the temple, you see it is of incredibly nice design, very well kept, almost no doubt constructed by dwarves. The stonework here is really fine. There was a lot of dwarves in the area a few hundred years ago.
Right.
This is probably around the time when it was constructed, and you see a lot of the local folk sitting around praying. There's a young girl practicing her hymns. The acoustics in this place are very nice. Also, there's a lot of braziers and plants growing within here, bushes and small trees and the like. At the very head is a man who seems to be writing in a book up at the altar. He's bald, and you see that he's wearing a green robe, much like Duroc was.
Mm-hmm.
But the gold inlays that Duroc had were of simple grain heads.
Right.
He has grain heads, a sun, and some more depictions of the stars and stuff on the back of his robe. So you immediately presume this guy is further up in the ladder of acolytes.
Well, I suppose I approach
Sure.
as far up as I can, at least.
Yeah, no, you can walk pretty much right on up to the altar. Those braziers there are not lit at the moment,
Right.
so...
So I probably know, it's good. They're
Sure.
not in the middle of, a religious service.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it seems, even though there doesn't seem to be, a sermon or anything going on, or a time of prayer happening, there's a lot of folk in here who are still praying.
This town seems pretty devoted.
Absolutely. And as you approach, the man sets down his quill very gently, folds up the book, and looks at you, gives you a quick nod, and goes, "I'm Laren Green, Welcome to our town.
It's nice to be in one. Drak sent us, told us we had his blessing.
Ah, excellent. His word is truly good with me. If he says that you're fine people, I believe him.
Well, we thank you for that.
You're welcome to stay within our town as long as you need.
It's good to hear. We're worried for your town.
What's that?
At least I am. We've heard reports of a band of disguised orcs coming this way.
Is that so? From
Helmtop.
the Helmtop battles. That's intriguing. Orcs are not so much known for using disguises. Whenever we've dealt with them in the past, it's been very much so a forward fight, and for that we call on Nold.
These ones seem different.
Hmm.
And, well, at least I'm worried that they made it here sooner than we did. I'm concerned about the water. I think it's safe for now, but we know they have strong poisons.
Hmm.
Enough that could destroy this whole agricultural system.
I
How
see.
loud is this? Like, in
Uh,
I was say, I'm definitely keeping my voice
yeah,
down,
a
but
lot of it is covered up by the singing
Okay.
and whatnot.
because I'm just like, you probably can't, like,
yeah.
you're talking to him, I'm behind you, I'm just like, because you're just spilling the beans.
I am spilling the beans. But I think it's Leander trusts. I don't know if he trusts the high priest, but he has respect for anyone who he respects. You know, a nature
order?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he contemplates this for a moment, looks at you and goes, well, tonight I'll have Roderin and a few of the other acolytes be sure to maintain some restorative spells on the water. That may alleviate your worries.
Insight and see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just want to see if he knows anything about this beforehand and isn't saying anything.
Sure.
That's a 14.
14, he is, how should I put it? He's not lying or anything, and
Yeah.
he doesn't seem to be concealing any information. However,
Mhm.
he also doesn't seem to be as concerned as you. Like, he's heard all sorts of warnings in the past about dangers coming this way, and his faith has always carried him through it. So, he doesn't seem like if Pelor wills it to be, these people will be safe.
I think that's what Leander assumes he would think, anyways.
Sure.
You know.
Though he does seem to be, proactively doing a little bit of work and setting some of his acolytes to...
They'll pray about it.
Yeah, test the waters and pray about it and whatnot, but definitely not the forward action that you
Right.
would prefer.
They're not gonna set up,
like...
I'm just gonna keep some stuff to myself.
Fair enough.
Well, anyways, just wanted to let you know. Want your people to be safe, and we'll be in town.
You're welcome to. I see. The markings of your order are quite tarnished. Who do you worship?
Torm.
Torm. He is certainly a symbol beside Pelor. A protector of the innocent and, well, a keeper of that which is good in the world. And for that, you are certainly welcome here.
Thank you.
Is
Seems
there
like,
anything else I can help you with?
seems like a lot of the town follows your lead.
We've done well during the occupation and even beforehand. Loten is rather prosperous by comparison to the rest of the country, and our crops have always yielded good results, so as long as the worship of Pelor stays strong here, I feel our people will be safe. Now, perhaps, and suddenly a little bit of a realist comes over him, and he goes, perhaps Farrenwell did not burn Loten to the ground because they wanted the food just the same, but I still feel like it is by Pelor's hand that we've been guided to this point, and therefore, we must continue that journey.
Well, that much I'm happy for. I'll leave you to, your people.
Could you not? What were you guys doing in the grove?
I'm actually really curious about Silas. Like, does he seem just kind of goofy? Like, does he seem to have much, like, of his own stuff? Is he just following you around?
So you like give him an examination?
Yeah,
like,
we only really see him, like, mid-battle. He's not
yeah, no,
around much. Does he have, like, a personality?
he, I would describe him, the things that you notice that you can fill in after this, but what really weirds you out about him is he doesn't seem to follow the normal rules of things because he's actually very heavy. He's like 40 pounds. And those eye stalks he has have the texture and hardness of rock. Not the stalks themselves, but the actual eyeballs, as well as the central eyeball and a big gaping maw along the bottom of it. And certainly a very strange being, because by all means he should sink to the ground like a rock. But instead he's capable of floating about quite proficiently. Otherwise, yeah, what would you describe his personality and stuff like?
I think probably a little mischievous, a little sadistic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you've seen him give off a bit of a grin after blasting some stuff, killing a goblin or two. Like.
Yeah. A little disconnected, but you know, a lot of times more an observer and sort of, you know, the thing that seems most pressing to him most of the time is, you know, would be looking around and getting a sense of things, of what's going on immediately around him, and, you know, the majority of his behavior is that, and toying with small animals, bugs,
Yeah.
you know, eating them, and you know, sort of being a, you know, a predator of sorts, you know, on a very small scale.
Though you personally know Gilroy, and this definitely interests you, by no means does he have to eat. He does it because he enjoys doing it. He doesn't ever have to eat to sustain himself. He just likes eating bugs.
But I think there is a bit of an innocent quality about him because he is so new, you know, maybe there's this air of like, you know, oh, he just doesn't know yet. like a puppy, you know, that, you know, pees in the house or whatever, so.
Sure.
Bailey's never really questioned him. She's been really quick to just accept, okay, there's an eye stalk with us, that's
Yeah.
cool. But we have a little bit more time now.
Sure, and yeah.
She likes him.
You bring him into the grove and just kind of let him out to ponder on him for a minute.
Yeah, I think so. I walk over to the water and I take my sample and I sort of at a glance realize, okay, you know, this is mostly fine, and he's over there presumably with you.
Does he play fetch? Gilroy?
It would take Gilroy's command for him to do so, but he might have a good time doing that. You definitely also would know he's curious. You know, obviously, not only can he look in all directions at once, but he wants to know the details of all that direction.
Yeah, definitely. Observant, curious, a little mischievous and sadistic maybe at times. If, you know, you were to really look at the way he consumes things. And so I think I'll approach back and say, water looks good, for now anyway.
That's promising.
Yeah. Did you see that shop we went by?
The one with all the noise?
That one indeed, yeah. What a phony. I really...
I'm a bit upset you so much. You can go, I don't know, tell him what for?
Maybe was an instigator.
I have this little creep and this devil on my shoulder. Yeah, I think...
Maybe he's trying to teach you to stand up for yourself a little bit. You have this silent judgment you can stand up for yourself.
Yeah. That really egged me on. I think I will have to. Care to join me?
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful.
You guys head out there now?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Just checking the time. We'll probably break after this.
So, it would probably time up well enough that around now the temple bells start ringing, and as you two make your way out of the temple, many of the local farmers are making their way in for a minute of prayer. And you see, a lot of the folks dock their boats that were fishing on the river, and the flour mill grinds to a halt. And you guys reconverge in the middle of town, where Gilroy says he intends to check out that shop up there.
Yeah. What was the name of it?
Sing Stalter's Inventions. So you guys make your way there?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check out that shop. You guys, how was the temple?
They seem like good enough people.
Surprised to hear you say that.
You know how it is. Nature. They're pretty devout.
Yes, I can imagine.
So you guys make your way north through town, and approaching the doorstep of Sing Stalter's Inventions, you hear yet another loud bang, and a white flash of light emits from the windows. And from within the shop, you hear a voice cry out, "Wow! All right! Another go next week, then!" And as you push open the door, a slight puff of white smoke escapes, seeping into the open air. The storefront of Sing Stalter's Inventions is surprisingly well organized. The shelves and tables are covered in small trinkets and mechanical devices. However, one desk in particular is burned, chipped, and covered in soot. Sitting at this desk is a gnome with very dark, wide eyes, his short blonde hair singed and slightly smoking. He has a wrench in hand, working away at a strange metal contraption, a wheeled box with a long metal arm that seems to pop and jump around the table erratically.
Okay. Yeah, I think Gilroy leads the way into this.
Sure.
Maybe for the first time ever, leading this party into something. And Silas is, maybe as he steps into the door, he lets Silas out of his jacket. So as we're passing by the acolytes, he was hidden, but now is
now
free.
he's been freed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gnome definitely does not look like the rest of the locals. Certainly a different type of character.
And I'd like to cast Detect Magic.
Sure.
So I turn that on.
You do that every time you step into a shop. You notice there are some boots in here that are magical, that are on the shelves. There's a backpack that is a decent amount of magic flowing throughout that. There's a rod, which is quite magical, and there's a looks like a music box, which is magical as well. You also see two particularly highly priced items that don't show up as magical, but do seem animated in some way. A small beetle, a mechanical beetle, and what looks like a mask that you could strap around your mouth. And Sing Stalter, the gnome with wide dark eyes, a blonde, singed, and currently even smoking a little bit hair, goes, "Hey there, friend! What you looking at?"
I'm just browsing. Thanks.
Fair enough. You got any questions on any of this?
Maybe. I'll let you know. And so Gilroy circles the store.
Sure.
and browses the wares and.
I kind of go up and I'm like, wow, you really told him.
Just you wait. Really.
Leander's probably just still standing, just in front of the doorway, scanning.
Yeah.
Just, not sure what...
Definitely.
What is he doing here?
Definitely very foreign stuff to you, especially with the engineering side of things, the cogs and stuff. You've never actually seen too many cogs.
Right, he probably... He might bend over and, try and snap something off.
Sure.
Or, and then just leave it alone and...
Yeah.
Erlon is very unceremoniously, kind of picking up things, not the most graceful,
Yeah.
and just spinning gears.
Sure.
Just being think anybody needs something like this.
Leander probably doesn't understand it. Erlon just doesn't want it in general.
I think Gilroy will. You said there was boots that were magic,
There are boots, yeah.
and they're not like out
They're not
of reach or
mechanical.
anything.
Yeah, they're pretty much right in front of you on the shelf.
So yeah, I'll pick them up. I'll examine them a bit. See. You didn't make these, did you?
No, I bought them. Well, sometimes adventurers don't really find a store particularly convincing unless there's something magical, so I had to have some magical items, I guess. And it has picked up business a bit.
You don't say. Much of the rest of this is your.
No, yeah, no, a lot of these are. And he shows you the project he's currently working on, this strange metallic box with a weird arm. And he goes, someday it could be useful for, I don't know, digging out tunnels and using it as a support device. And he takes the arm and extends it like 3 feet up, and it can clamp onto the ceiling. And yeah, no, looks like it has some sort of function to it, but he really is like figuring it out as he goes along.
Yawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Most interesting. Here's a question.
What's that?
Why bother?
Well, you can't stop a gnome from tinkering a little. I got some spare scrap iron from Thaladin's one day, and he said I could melt it down into any weird shape I wanted, so I said springs. And then we got this baby. And he holds out a small metallic beetle that looks to be of silver metals, and then he gives it a flick on the face, and its eyes glow purple. And he throws it, and it skitters across the walls, and then down and out the door. And he goes, give me a moment, I'm about to get a delivery. And a dwarf knocks on the door, and he opens it on up, and grabs a few more chunks of iron, which he just kind of sets down on the chipped table and starts sorting out.
Okay, I say, do you mind?
Oh.
And I take a piece of the iron.
Sure.
And I sort of hold it between my hands while I'm speaking to Sing Stalter, presumably.
Yes.
Say, but so much. You're clearly an intelligent gnome.
Yes.
Quite genius, maybe, but why go through all the trouble again? Why not? So much of this could be done
Magically.
so much simpler. And the iron bar is now wooden.
Oh, thank you. He takes it from you and he goes, well, turns out some folks want to be able to do cool magic stuff without ever having to open a book. So I figured out how to make some No, I don't know how to make like fireballs and stuff, but I made some useful items. It's not the same thing.
I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Dirty glance.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, anything you can do is quite impressive. It's just I needed a way to bring out my own creative side. And
in some ways, it's almost more difficult than magic, right? Because you have to learn it on your own. You don't have this great big library and people helping you.
I'll tell you, my folks, the Sig Salters, are quite known for coming up with good ideas and things folks have never quite seen before. So, yeah, I think you got the right thought. What's your name?
Melee.
Nice to meet you, Melee. You have a 10% discount here. He says, you have a 10% overcharge here as he takes the wood from you and slams it on the desk.
I see your point, but I've not met anyone yet that didn't have some aptitude, anyway. Any inclination yourself in aiding your own invention?
Could you do anything for me? You can see, not all of this is precisely mechanical. Some of it, I do need the assistance of the arcane. I couldn't see through the beetle's eyes if there wasn't a little bit of farsight in there, so...
I'll think on it.
Your services, takes the chunk of wood and knocks it against the desk and is looking at it pretty close. He goes, it might be pretty useful.
So there was a beetle and...
There was a mask, some boots, a backpack, a rod, a beetle, and a music box.
So, I think Leander comes up behind Gilroy and is kind of waiting in line.
Sure.
He's got the music box in his hands.
Well met, friend.
What manner of devilry is in this?
Erlon steps outside.
Well, you ever seen a music box before?
Yeah.
He winds it on up for you and goes, listen to this. I need you to make I think it's a wisdom saving throw.
I'm
Is that everybody or just him?
No, just Leander.
Oh
Okay.
no.
You're not even in the room.
Still suspicious.
You can still hear it. A 7.
You immediately fall backwards asleep. As the music box makes a very dreamy melody emits from it as some small hammers hit some really small keys. It's pretty quiet, but it definitely hits you really hard, and you're just snoozing on the ground until he grabs some water from his workspace and splashes it on your face and goes, yeah, it can be pretty useful, right? Helps you back on up.
Erlon!
There's definitely in here.
When I hear my name called by my battle brother, I rush in.
He's just shaking awake from like the water splashed on his face.
Whoa! Stay calm there, friend. I'm not hurting anyone.
I help Leander up.
I'll stick to the boots.
The boots are boots of readiness. Gives you a +1 to initiative. Woo!
Okay, yeah, and I think, he then goes over to the backpack and
Just checking them all out.
Yeah.
Whatever you might be interested in. The gnome Sing Salter describes that as a Heward's handy haversack, which is it has a 8 cubic foot pouch where the normal pouch is, which can hold up to 80 pounds, and 2 side pouches, which are actually 2 cubic feet, which can hold up to 20 pounds apiece. And so it's a backpack that can hold much. It's like a bag of holding,
but smaller.
yeah, minor. The rod is an immovable rod capable of holding up to 8,000 pounds, and it requires a strength DC 30 to move. So only like dragons and stuff can move that.
And even then, it's a really tough.
Yeah, it's even a roll for the strongest of things.
Right.
The mask, Sing Salter describes as that's a water-breathing apparatus. I came up with it recently. It should let you breathe underwater for like an hour or two, but don't take it off, obviously.
And don't rely on it for longer than an hour or two.
Yeah, I'd say around an hour you're pushing it. Around 2 hours you're probably dead.
Good to know.
And he also very excitingly shows off his premier invention as far as he's concerned, Sing Salter's Seeing Beetle, which is a small autonomous beetle, mechanical, that will go wherever you want within a distance of 30 feet, and for a minute, once it's reached its destination, you can see through its eyes. Then it deactivates, and you have to wait a week before you can use it again. And finally, he has the sleep box, which you're quite familiar with.
Well, these are all nice toys.
Thank you.
But I'm broke. And Leander steps outside.
Is that so? And, no, but right before you make it out, he definitely tries to draw you back in for a moment, and he goes, there's a few ways you could make some coin real quick if you wanted to. I've seen up in the fighting ring they got a new champion. There's a good way to make some coin. Put a good bet up on that. I'm sure you could make good gold with him fighting. He points towards Erlon. And then he goes, also, the temple has some kind of request out, but I haven't heard too much of it as of late. I think it's been mostly abandoned. Something about the Brighton Bridge, but I don't really leave town anymore, so...
I'm sure or at least I'll stop back in before the week's over.
Alright. Sounds good to me. Any of you other folk need anything?
I'm all set, thank you.
It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Of course! Anytime, Melee. Gilroy? He hands you the chunk of wood, and he goes, if you could.
Just don't know if I can.
Ah.
Within an hour.
Alright, I'll see you tomorrow or something then. He takes it back, sets it on down, and yeah, begins wrenching away. And next up, you guys probably to the tavern, right?
Yeah, but I think we should probably...
That's, where I'm thinking we're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I hope you're enjoying episode 4 as we adventure through this new town and figure out exactly what's going on in Loten.
Yeah, we should be back in like 5 minutes or so. I want to shout out to Sandman for subscribing. Thanks so much, dude. Thanks for hanging. Thanks to all of you for hanging. We do take subscriptions, or you can visit Freakopolis.com. Check out some of the awesome geeky stuff there.
And if you're really enjoying the show, throw us a share. Throw it on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you like to put it. That's how we're going to get more people on in here. So thank you very much, and we will see you in a few minutes, guys. What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Lands of Alaire. A short little break, and our party is now making their way south into the town of Loten once again, from Singstalter's inventions. And you pass once again by that fighting ring where the bells are ringing out, and people seem to be really crowding around it at this time in the evening after the afternoon prayer.
I'm definitely approaching that way.
Alright.
I'm tired of stone houses and people praying. I'm looking for a good fight.
It's time to really get into it. Alright. So yeah, you guys make your way on over here.
Oh my god.
Just 4 dead guys and a huge monster.
They're not dead. In fact, they are badly injured.
Oh, well, that's okay then.
Yeah. You do notice, in fact, though not depicted here, there is a acolyte of Pelor who seems to be making a little bit of extra gold on the side by healing up people who fight in the fighting ring. He is a younger human male with blonde hair, wearing the standard robes, but otherwise it seems a little out of place for an acolyte to be doing this and making money off of it, but not everyone's perfect. Yeah, just approaching the outside of town, you find this not exactly secret, but I bet you the locals really like to consider it secret fighting club. Where men brawl around sundown. The fight is organized by Martin Sierre, a very fat, larger, bald man in his middle age, who is missing a few teeth and has no facial hair, very smooth, round face. And he offers up to twice one's wager, up to 500 gold, to fight his champion, Loten, the half-ogre.
I give Erlon a slap on the back. Go get him!
Yeah, I take him up on his offer and be like, you look like a strong one, but I've laid down worse.
And Loten looks down at you. He has been busy this afternoon, for certain. Upon looking at him a little bit, looks like he's been lashed on the back. Looks like definitely he's been put up to this. Certainly not a look of intelligence in his eyes, but one of someone who, has been shoved into a fighting ring, you know. And Martin Sierra goes, so then, what's your wager?
Do I have a sponsor?
I'll match you up to 500 if he can make it.
Do we pay up front?
Yeah, you do.
Gilroy!
That's how betting works.
I don't know how comfortable.
Well, I'm confident we'll win.
I don't know. What do you think's reasonable?
250.
250?
It's Orlon we're talking about.
I'll throw 50 of mine down.
I'm broke.
I got 61 gold.
What? I got your. I'll be your coach. I got your back in the ring.
Thanks, Leander.
Yeah, okay. Sure. 250 gold
So it is.
on the half elf.
Step
On the
on in,
half breed.
my friend. Which one?
I don't know how comfortable I am with this now that we can kind of obviously see that
I was
this
gonna
isn't
say,
a
can we
choice
see that he's lashed?
making. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also can't deny the fact that he was like born for this. You don't really, you can see that at some point in his history he was definitely coerced and brought into servitude through pain. It's not really an uncommon story around these parts.
I won't stop if I'm not gonna add to the wager.
Fair enough.
I definitely I feel that coming off you, and I look at you and I wink.
Okay.
I think,
So is this like a bare-fisted brawl, or is it like
No,
we're
he's
actually?
got a great sword. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you
Wow,
guys,
okay.
you really go at it.
Damn.
And, but Martin says, Zagala, you'll make sure you don't die. Best of luck, friend. He slapped your back as you step into the gravel pit that they have surrounded by stones here, this little arena.
Contemplating worrying if I actually have to wonder about death a little bit. As I'm not sure how far I can go in this town and how much I really want to go, but I guess we'll see where the battle takes us.
Sure.
I thought this was gonna be a brawl, not
Not
a brawl.
Gladiatorial.
Now we know why Secret Fight Club is secret.
It is. It's really fun. Fun to watch. And he leans back. You see his coffers are full of gold. Of course people have been betting against this guy and losing. Look at him.
Yeah, I draw my great sword and I just crack.
Yep.
Get ready.
Yeah, you in the ring next to this guy, you being very lean and muscular, as compared to this guy who is the definition of bulk. Like,
Gotcha.
his skin is a little bit of a mottled gray, though he seems to be washed. It's in between an ogre's and a human's.
Gotcha.
So very thick looking for certain. But he looks down at you, probably about 8.5, 9 feet tall. And he goes, "You're next."
You're next.
All right. And he pulls his greatsword from his back, much like there's just a chunk of iron on a stick.
Yep.
Roll initiative. A 2.
A 5.
You go first.
All right. So, I get my footing in the gravel, and
Absolutely.
I kind of I spring forward and get ready for like a backhanded swing
Yep.
right across his chest. And I roll a 10.
A 10 will not quite make it with him.
All right.
Drawn on up. And he's going to respond, with a slash downward himself. He's going to be rolling a 12.
Nope.
Ooh. Alright, you go again.
I think I send out Silas to
To get a
circle the
an angle on it?
Yeah, just see through that.
Martin speaks up for a moment when you're doing that. He goes, "Hey, what's that?"
Oh, it's hard to explain. I'll take him back.
No funny business. Or I'm keeping your gold. Alright, go ahead.
Go get him.
No, no
Erlon.
problem. Yeah, so I shout, "Is that the best you got?" And I come in for another slashing motion from underneath, I'm assuming, because I missed. I kind of
Yeah.
landed. I pivot,
Absolutely.
and that's a 17.
17 hits this guy.
Great.
You're not raging yet, are you?
No. I want it to be a challenge.
Sure.
So that is 10 damage.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, no, definitely a good swing. You cut him right up underneath the right arm, and he seems to be bleeding a bit from there because he is very lightly armored himself, much like you.
Can we see his health bar, or do we not get that?
Ooh.
No.
You do.
Okay.
Sorry, some of the guys, I did not throw the reveal the bar.
Oh.
I have to do that for, like, everyone. There we go. So, yeah, you see, you took a chunk out of him.
That's a big health bar.
He's going to be throwing an 18 on the next swing.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah, presuming it's a hit. I like that we're both throwing 2d6s at each other. Oh, he's going to be hitting you for 13 damage on that one.
Would have been nice to cut that in half.
Yes, that's a pretty mighty swing. And I look at my blood and I look at him and I'm like, this isn't gonna be as easy as I thought. And I shove my bloody fist in the ground and like yell to my ancestors
Alright.
and fly into a rage.
Sure.
And I charge at him again with a reckless attack.
Sounds good.
And that is 15.
15 will hit this guy.
That is 11 damage.
Alright, you cut him on down a bit.
So while the battle's going on, Martin, is that?
Martin is the name of the dude that's taking bets, yeah.
What's the half ogre's story?
Oh, well, found him up north one day, walking around the roads and definitely abandoned, but somehow he taught himself how to grow up, lived on the land. I thought, that's a prime fighter right there. So I took him up, taught him how to fight, and that wasn't easy because he's about as slow as an old mule. And, well, now he's grown into something quite a bit more, and we live pretty comfortably. Leans back, and his hands are just jingling coin all over on that table. It's a good partnership. A little rough in the beginning, but now I think he likes it.
Gotcha. Best of luck to you.
And behind you, Frothin is bringing his great sword down towards Erlan with these great overarching strikes. He's gonna be throwing a 12 on that one.
Misses.
Just barely, yeah. You dodged deftly right out of the way of that one in a counterattack.
Yep. So I feint to the left a little bit, and then I come in for a stab.
Okay.
That is 12.
12 hits. That is his AC.
9 damage.
For 9. Yeah, he's definitely bloodied at this point, and though it doesn't seem to be slowing him down, he is slow as all hell. But the weight behind his strikes, you can tell. As someone who's fought close quarters quite a bit, you know this is, yeah, if he does connect, it's really gonna hurt. I'm not gonna count that. That one's gonna be another 18. That time he's gonna be doing 14 points of damage, cut down to 7.
Okay. So I'm starting to feel a little ragged, and I'm honestly starting to panic a little bit, wondering if I got myself in over my head. But so I'm not going to recklessly attack this time, but I am still, very angry.
Sure.
That's another 12.
Yes.
And that is 10 damage.
Alright. You're strong, he goes, as he attempts to grab you by the neck. And I need you to make an athletics check. He's going to be throwing a 16. You're raging, so you have advantage on this.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, no.
You don't need it.
14.
14, yeah, he manages to get hold of you with this, and he is now grappling you. Though it does bring it to your turn, and you can make another attempt at escaping.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to get out of there.
Alright.
Trying to kind of move my sword around and try to cut his hands. And let's see. So is that a strength saving throw again?
Yeah, I think it's an athletics or acrobatics. Your choice. Yeah.
Athletics for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I push my muscles to the limit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is 21.
Alright, I'll make an opposing check. an 18. He's strong, but you do manage to, slip free of that attack, and you can make an attack back.
Cool. Alright, so I take a big deep breath and I start howling again, just rushing in, and I rolled a 8.
8 will miss. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say 15. I was like, ooh, yeah.
I thought I was gonna say. No.
Whoa, he goes. You need some new moves. And with a 16 athletics, he attempts to swipe out your feet from underneath you and knock you prone. So you can make an opposing athletics.
Oh man!
Suddenly revealing that in his time fighting, he's actually learned some interesting techniques and maneuvers. So that knocked you prone, and then he's going to make his attack, which is going to be a 13.
Misses. Just.
Ooh, so yeah, you roll through the gravel as he slams the greatsword down, spreading gravel and sand everywhere, and that brings it to your turn. And you can use your move action to stand back up and then attack.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna spring to my feet and kind of go at his flank, at his side, because he just came down really hard with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And does he have tusks, by the way?
He does not in particular, though his teeth are particularly broad.
Okay. 10.
10 is not going to work that time.
It's getting tricky.
I'll talk to him.
He is throwing a critical hit on that attack.
Oh no.
He's going to be doing
What you do, Leon?
18 damage, which reduced does 9 to you.
Come on, Erlon.
So you have 3 HP left.
Alright.
I can't help you.
So, Erlon is actually now in animalistic mode, survival. Yeah. He's honestly starting to panic, and he's thinking back to the closest that he came to death. And he remembers the dire boar and what it did to him. And there's no more mercy in his eyes anymore. It's all about survival.
Absolutely.
As you see Erlon really panic. And in that panic, I critically fail. Roll a natural 1.
I was saying crit, not crit fail.
For a moment, that flashback of when the dire boar just gored you in the back surprised you while you were relaxing in the wilds one day. The stature of this half-ogre is much the same, reminds you of that, and you take a step back, and back in the day, you didn't have a great sword, so you drop yours to the ground, and you instinctually would go for your bow, which was your weapon when you were surviving alone.
Yeah.
But then once you started fighting men and orcs and whatnot, a greatsword definitely comes in handy then. So you drop your weapon to the ground, and it hits with a clank, and he attempts to strike at you with a miss. Yeah, you have to regain control.
So I pick up my sword and I go in for another attack.
Absolutely.
19 plus, so.
Definitely.
That is 10 more damage.
All right.
Come on. Oh no.
The half-ogre leans back a little bit. He seems a bit woozy now, almost battle drunk. And he goes, okay, now this ends. You'll be throwing a 13.
Just misses.
Oh! Slams the ground with a two-handed, bringing it down right on top of where you had lowly grabbed your sword and just kind of kept it in a low position. God. And you managed to spring out of the way with a strike that would have certainly sent you flying.
Come on, Erlon!
Yeah. I don't even hear them anymore. I'm tunnel vision. I'm reliving my memory. I'm reliving my trauma. Natural 20.
Yeah!
That's what we needed.
So how are we doing critical?
Take the dice you roll, increase that times it by 2, and then add your strength.
Gotcha. So should I re-roll that, or should we keep that?
Can you hold another die on top of it? So it can count. If you want to re-roll it, go ahead.
I'll count it. Why not? It was close enough.
Yeah, I'd say that's fine.
That's so multiply that by 2, so that's 10. Plus 4, so 14 damage.
14, and he had 10 HP left. So yeah, when he is down with that attack, you bring up your greatsword, slam him on the backside with it, right along the back of his what is that area? The trap.
Yeah.
Trapezius.
Trapezius.
Yeah, trapezius. I'm not too in the anatomy mindset at the moment, though it is useful for battle descriptions. And yeah, you bring him down with that strike, and he ends up kind of in a push-up position on his hands and knees, and then boof, and yeah, sends a bunch of dust flying. And you're standing there, badly bloodied, but still quite alive, and the acolyte rushes over. Martin is looking on with disbelief. His mouth is agape. He's... Ow! Ow! Fall things never... Against you?
And I'm raising my greatsword again. You guys can see that I'm not done with this fight.
Right.
Yeah,
Unless I
yeah.
am in
I was
the middle of
like,
something.
Leander probably hops over the
I'm ready to
side,
bring it down.
Sure.
Like, I'm in survival mode.
Yeah.
comes over and puts his hand on him, and I give you the 15 points of lay on hands I got. Bring you back from...
Near death.
Yeah.
Shock you out of it a little
What was
bit.
Yeah, well, the feeling of divine energy
Okay.
in your wounds
Yeah.
closing
Yeah.
is certainly a strange feeling.
Yeah.
Probably
Might draw
calming.
you away, from
Okay,
the battle
cool.
rage.
Yeah.
And yeah, slowly you realize
Like,
that...
probably sit you down, or at least try to, and like...
I get up, I'm like, I need a moment, and
Yeah.
I honestly run off into, like, the woods,
Sure.
realizing what I had done. Like, I had my
Right.
sword over
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
head,
you
ready
could have
to...
been. Yeah, you were a step away from killing that guy.
Yeah.
Who is being healed by the acolyte, and within moments he is at least sitting down, breathing heavy, but he goes, "That was good. That was real good." And Martin looks at him and goes, "That was not good. No." Oh, frothy. The bets, right? 250 and what was the other one?
I think you placed 50, right?
Yeah.
600. He throws you a leather sack, filled with 600 gold coins.
So I will.
Wait, right to me.
I'm just gonna add my 500 to myself, and you can take your 100.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll see you in the next town when Frothane's ready for another fight. Looks like he's got a lot of training up to do. He gives Frothane a little smack on the face, and Frothane goes, "That was fun!"
I certainly hope we meet again.
Yeah. Till next time. And 1,000 gold next time. I'll be good for it.
Take a look at his chest.
He does have quite a bit left. Maybe not quite 1,000, but a sizable amount.
Okay.
Looks like that was definitely the first bet he lost in town. Rowan, you run off into the woods. It's a peaceful place for certain. Suddenly reconnects you with the aspects of nature that you have come to love. The sound of running streams and the singing of birds and the feel of bark and the leaves under your feet. Does anyone go after him, or?
No, seeing him run off, I think I'd probably just put my hands on my hips and, I knew he could do it, but, I head outside the ring.
Okay. So you guys turn into town?
Do you
I
think
just kind of
someone
shout
should?
into the woods, like, could he hear me?
Sure.
I yell to him, "We'll be in town."
I'm just like,
I was gonna say, I think we should give him some time.
Yeah, no, you find a good grove to
Maybe
sit
meditate
at,
or something.
contemplate for a little while.
I'm going back to.
Back to St. Salters?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I should go alone this time.
All right, Bailey, it's you and me.
I know we're splitting the party again. But,
Okay, we'll do that real quick then. So
Yeah.
you go up to St. Salter's Inventions. He's, the gnome is on his tiptoes, hanging a closed sign, and turns around as you're approaching and goes, "Oh, it's you. Come on in."
Alright, I enter. Is that thing what blew up on his table?
That was his strange mechanical arm box,
Right.
which he claims could be super useful for like a mobile support in a mine.
Does it have anything visibly broken?
Yeah, no, a
Like a
couple
link or something?
Yeah,
a
like
coupling?
a chain has snapped, and that caused whatever type of motor he has running in there to stop working.
Sure. I think I approach that thing in the center and I place my hands around it, and there's a slight glow, and as I remove them, the chain has been mended. Say, I think we got on the wrong foot.
I'm afraid so, but that means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I do admire what you're doing. I just think at times, well, you have a lot of potential. And to spend it here in this town, this shop, seems, potentially wasted. I don't know, maybe consider moving. I think you could do quite well for yourself south of Sarangar.
That might be so. The folks are kind around here, but maybe there's a bigger market somewhere out there for me. Certainly a lot of looky-loos.
Yeah, you could go far. In the meantime, I just won a lot of money,
Oh,
and I'd like to purchase some of your items.
oh. Excellent. What can I get for you?
I want the immovable rod
All right.
and the haversack, at the very least. I don't know what that totals.
Those two are, well, they are the most magical items I have in here.
I noticed.
It comes to $12.50, but
$12.50.
$7.50 for the handy haversack, $500 for the immovable rod. Well,
How much was it? $5.50 for the immovable?
$500 for the immovable rod and $7.50 for the haversack. But he goes, well, I could shave a little off the haversack for you for giving me a hand there.
I'll be back for the haversack.
Fair enough.
I'll take the rod.
All right, yeah, it's $500, and he does go as he's explaining, the haversack and stuff, and its price. He does pull out like a bunch of little tools and stuff from it, so it's in his personal use.
Yeah.
Partially as an example for what it's capable of, but also part of the reason why he's kind of sentimental about it. Doesn't want to let it go.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Much appreciated, friend. You, I'm sure you know how that one works, right? Don't have to explain it to you.
Yeah, of course.
Well, don't leave it on a stream or something. People are boating down because it'll wreck that stuff.
Understood.
Now, we're thinking of getting some shut-eye, if you don't mind.
Of course. Sure.
Have a good day, Gilroy.
Take care.
So as me and Melee are walking to the tavern, I think I'm probably like, well, Torm does favor the courageous, but I feel kind of responsible for Erlon's.
He's a fighter.
Yes, that's true. That's for sure. Are you paying for drinks tonight?
Sure.
Okay.
You talked to I forgot his name, the guy in the temple about the water?
Yes.
It was Laren Green.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think he seems like the people trust him, and I think he's preying on it. For better or worse. We'll see what it does.
Alright, at least they're aware.
Yeah.
What's happening in the woods?
That's, what I was about to cut to. Erlon, as you're sitting there, you do see something that certainly catches your eye. It's a albino stag, but it has very blue eyes and some blue markings running down its side that denote. Well, you would be familiar with it as some sort of symbol of the Fae. That's where these types of things come from, is the Feywild. These animals that could be found in this natural habitat but have strange markings. And it gives you, it's wandering through the glade where you've chosen to sit down, and it just kind of runs its hooves into the ground a little bit and gives you a big snort from its nose as it's just kind of staring at you for a moment. But it seems very serene, like you're just another animal, nothing to be concerned about. It's not running from you or anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, to some, quite a regular happenstance, and to others it might mean a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think this was a sign from one of my ancestors, probably.
Yeah.
Letting me know that it's okay. Things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Be at peace with yourself, and
you do see where some of the markings are in fact scars on this thing, and yet it's still living a very serene life out there. And so there's a bit of reflection on that for certain, and the fact that animals don't consider the morality of things. They do what they instinctually do. And so you're closer to an animal than a lot of these folks. And instinctually, when you get into those fights, you end those fights.
Yeah.
Always have. And so there's, a lot to think on. But you definitely find your heart rate going down and yourself to be in a much calmer state of mind.
Okay. Cool. I definitely take a big deep breath. I touch one of the trees just to ground myself.
Yeah.
And then I start walking back towards the center of town. I think I'm going to go and attempt to wash my face, kind of.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and clear a bit of the dried blood and stuff.
Yeah.
And as you're doing that, Gilroy walks along across. You guys are already making your way to the center of town towards the tavern, the Quran on Dune. And Gilroy sees you washing up your face a bit and just getting some of the blood out of there.
Erlon,
Gilroy.
that was quite the showing.
I honestly feel shame trying to wash it away at the moment and attempt to forgive myself for my slip.
Well, it was, I think, warranted to some degree. It's just nice for me to know that all of us struggle with setting a goal and maybe going a bit overboard.
It tends to happen. I'm going to talk to everybody else, but I think one way I can resolve my guilt, you saw the lashes on that creature's back, correct?
I did, yes.
I think we should buy its freedom.
Gilroy thinks to the money he just spent on the immovable rod.
I think it would be noble, and I think Leander's gods would be proud, and I think my ancestor would be very thankful for me giving back to what I almost so selfishly, took away.
Yes, I can see that line of thinking. All right. I'm not one to keep someone in servitude for long, obviously. It's not my favorite position to be in, so, I'll help you in any way I can, Erlon.
Thank you, Gilroy. I appreciate it. And I put a hand on your shoulder. You are a good friend.
I'm trying.
As he stuffs the very expensive immovable rod into a pouch. And you guys meet out front of the tavern, the Quran on Dune, which looks much like this. And you pass through the doors of the small tavern and into a dimly lit common room. It's a quiet space with a few local patrons sitting about on simple tables, sipping away at ale and talking amongst each other. There's a low smoke from their pipes that hangs about, flowing around the ceiling like a thin gray sheet. And there's a single human he's rather pudgy behind the bar, who gives a look at you. He's got big brown eyes and a fat nose and a bit of a beard, much like yours, kind of, TJ, minus the stash. And he goes, "Travelers, welcome. Take a seat."
Leander reaches, like, as we sit down, Leander reaches into, he grabs the rod poking out of Gilroy's, kind of, I guess, if wearing like a satchel or something.
Yeah, I have like a side bag.
Yeah. And he grabs it and he's like, "Bought some iron?"
Exactly. Yes.
Pats it in his hands a few times. What do you make this into?
Oh, something useful, maybe. We'll see. No plans for it currently, but I imagine at some point. Now, would you like a drink? They're on me.
Yes, I would very much like a drink. I'm sorry, everybody.
What you looking for?
I'll have a water. So.
Of course. And you?
I'll have a water as well.
Really?
Yes.
Fair enough.
For now.
I'll have whatever Leander's having. I got his drink.
What about you, Orc?
I'll have an ale.
You guys are really impressing me. Yeah. Gives you all your drinks and goes, name's Sully and Bovin. Good to meet you, folk. Haven't had too many travelers through as of late.
Why's that?
Oh, the orcs are common, obviously, but there's also some folks in town that, well, they pay well, but certainly keep outsiders away. Sevelius and the like. Should be around, supposed to come back and pay me for his room within the week, but haven't seen him yet.
Gotcha. Well,
He owns the mine.
Yes, the East Hill Mine was a pretty important part of this territory when Sierra and the towns around these parts were in competition, making arms and armament for the Jarls, but those times are long past. Back in the day, the mines used to belong to Starren, his family. It was, Oliver Starren and Ara Starren, but something happened to him a few years back. Not really sure, but the mine quickly shifted hands to Sevelius's.
Svelius is with the Midnight Corps, right?
Alright.
Well, I think Leander clutches the amulet in his pocket or pouch or whatever.
Sure.
Gets back to drinking.
Now throw a perception check, everyone.
Just roll on
8.
Plus your
18.
perception. Yep.
So 7.
I got a 20, a natural.
Okay, Erlon and Leander both notice that these two patrons over here are certainly listening. They're kind of leaning in and have quieted their conversation in order to better hear yours. They look like commoners. Well, potentially traveling merchants. Their garb is a bit finer, and they're drinking wine, so you would presume they have some coin. But they're either out of interest or involvement, suddenly kind of peering into this conversation at the mention of Sevelius, the Midnight Court, yada yada yada. The Isel Mine in particular.
I give them a stern, like, unblinking elven look, and I'm just like, do you have anything to add?
No, sorry. Throw an intimidation check to see how freaked out they are by that.
13.
Yeah, they leave. It was like, we'll be on our way. Sorry about that.
I think that's probably for the best.
And Sully and Bovin, the human who bartends here, he leans in and he goes, what brings you to town? Just traveling through.
Just earned our freedom.
Is that so?
Yes, we were conscripts up north, and we made it back.
Well done. Must have been some hard fighting.
It was close at times,
Hmm.
but we won pretty handedly in the end.
Alright. Appreciate the sacrifice. I
Should
don't
be.
know. I don't know if Farrenwell's got it figured out with sending conscripts up there to be a wall against the hordes, but well, it certainly worked out for me. 10 years ago, during the beginnings of the River Wars, I was fortunate enough to own a tavern here in Loten, and the Corona on Dune. It's seen better days, but a lot of the war passed us by. So, I didn't have to serve. Now, Farrenwell sends men from their own lands up this way. Fight off the orcs, I'm afraid I can't complain.
How'd you get your name? The tavern.
Was priorly in the ownership of an elf. There was a lot of the other races around here a couple hundred years back when Tierra was full of the Carad Moor.
Right. Who, like, what other, how many people are in the tavern at the moment?
Probably like 15 other people. It's not a particularly big tavern.
Right. Alright. Yeah, oh well, I suppose. How many rooms are available?
Quite a few. Could get you each one. Just stay away from the one at the end of the hallway.
Sibelius?
He does not like to be disturbed. He doesn't like his stuff disturbed, even when he's not here.
Thanks for the tip.
No problem.
Nothing to say.
It is at this moment that a interesting character bursts in through the front doors. She has long blonde hair, or brown hair, and is wearing cleric's armor, chain and plate and the like, in layers. She has a big shield with a similar symbol to Leander's. And she busts on in and goes, "I am ready for a drink." Makes her way to the center of the room, sees who's standing at the bar, and drops her shield and her cudgel. Or actually, it's a flail. And goes, "Leander."
Oh my god, it's you!
You guys rush on over towards each other and meet in the middle of the bar.
I grab her by both her arms and I give her a shake.
Yeah, absolutely. So good to see you.
I'm gonna move over and sit next to Gilroy.
May the hand of Torm guide your strength, spirit, and loins.
Strength, spirit, and mind.
And
You still need
it's good to see you again.
A little work now, Leander. Remember to keep reading the verses every night, please. You had the right idea for certain, and he has. It's so good to see you, friend. And she gives you a big hug. She's a large woman, larger than you remember her. In fact, like she's been through some hardship, and has had to train herself to battle up.
How's your time been?
It's been a long road.
Well, it's good to see you all right.
Same here. It's wasn't since that night. It hasn't been since then that we've seen each other, right?
That's right.
I had caught wind of you on the road, but the Silver Keepers are so shattered, I didn't know if I would ever really find you.
Well, we're here now.
Excellent.
We've got a lot to catch up on.
We do. But I'm afraid I must ask your help, Leander. And when you look out the windows now, you see that the clouds are gathering. It is a gray sky as the sun begins to go down and the area darkens quite a bit. Now they begin to light torches around the town, and you do see off in the distance, past the lake and into the fields, there are those shrines now lit, and they do illuminate the fields quite well. She goes, "There's a curse on the land not far from here. I would hate to see a repeat of history, if you know what I'm talking about. I can't see another order fall, and so I've taken up the charge of ridding the land of these problems, and I would appreciate some backup.
Well, I'll be here for it.
Excellent. Are those your friends?
Yeah! Come take a seat with me.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I've been staring intently. I'm full on turned around.
Yeah, she's definitely. She's a pretty person. A good-looking, clean-faced, and well-maintained armor. Definitely looks capable at fighting. And you see at her side is a large old tome, no doubt a prayer book, which you know is much larger than Leander's tome, and definitely much better read.
Yeah, mine probably still looks like it was the first day I got it. Hers looks like she's been flipping through it for ages.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And I go, this is Gilroy, he's a scholar I met on the way. This is Maylee. She's quite proficient with the bow.
Mhm.
And this is Erlon,
Hey.
a good new friend of mine. We've been traveling for some time. It's so good to see you again.
Well met, friends. My name is Arena of the Silver Keepers. Still feels good to say that, but eyes go down a little bit. She takes a seat at the bar and orders a mug of ale from Sally and Bovin. And been keeping Leander safe. Is he reading that book?
Leander. You know.
Yes.
Excellent. You remember back at the keep.
Oh,
He had quite a bit of struggles with that, but he would stay up late nights with me, and I'd get him on his head.
yeah, they're there. I can promise you that. Have a drink with us.
Absolutely. It's such a relief on my heart to see you well. Where have you been since we last saw each other?
Well, I took a detour, up north. We made it to Helmtop.
Helmtop. Did Farewell get to you?
Yep.
Tried so hard to leave that.
Yeah.
You see in her face a look of disappointment in herself, essentially, in that she really didn't want to split up with Leander, and the fact that he got swept away in such craziness kind of weighs down on her.
Yeah, and I think it does the same for Leander.
Yeah, like you two are long lost friends.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it didn't end up all that bad. We spent a few weeks on the road. And then managed to fight off the orcs.
Really? That must be quite a tale, but I'd expect no less of you, Leander. When it came to swordplay, there was no combat, no challenge. Leander would take them all out, but when it came to remembering the prayers, you needed a lot of help.
I've got the ones I need.
I'm sure you still know the important ones when it comes to smashing things with divine power, anyway. She takes a long drink from the mug.
You know me well.
That I do. Now then, you look like capable folk, and if Leander trusts you, as do I could use your help. I'd be more than willing to split the reward if that's more what you'd be interested in. There is a land not far from here, the Brighton Bridge.
We've heard.
Tonight seems to be about the perfect conditions, and she glances out the front window, seeing that it is a cloudy and a little bit rainy now night. She goes, a starless, cloudy night. They say that's the time to avoid the area. That's when I want to charge right in. The Temple of Pelor, though it advises all adventurers to stay clear, does have a bounty on the if someone could bring the area to rest.
Do you know anything about
What it is?
Yes.
I took a detour there and used my senses, asked Torm for guidance to see what dangers may lurk in the area, and I've no doubt that there's something of undead presence, a negative energy there. Now, I'll have you know, the Silver Keepers taught me quite well how to destroy these things, but it was powerful, and I could use your help.
I think every time she mentions the Silver Keepers, Leander kind of...
Yeah, you never really brought it up as much. In name, anyway. You always used to say my order and stuff like that. But she still is holding on to the Silver Keepers like it's still a thing. It is not.
Well, you plan to set out tonight?
I think we have to. We may miss our chance otherwise.
Kind of glance down the bar at everyone else, you know, expectantly.
You really helped me out back there, and you are my sworn battle brother, so I will follow you.
I think we could do some good.
I believe so too, and I think that's what the world needs right now.
I'm sure you're interested, Gilroy.
Okay. You insist. Undead was prohibited at my school, so a chance to see it up close could prove valuable.
I'm already off the stool.
Right, yeah.
Like, okay.
Maybe it'll be more interesting than that shop of whatever that was. Have you been in there yet?
Thing-stalters?
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know if I have much use for anything in there.
That's what I thought.
We've been in the temple.
I took a stop in, yeah.
Well, I wish someday to see the temples of Elenvir, you know. I've been talking about them since my youth, but no, it doesn't quite compare to how the history books puts Orotelia's temples, but it's a fine temple. It's a nice place they have.
Seems well crafted.
It must be dwarvish, right?
Yeah.
She's just pondering on its construction and stuff. Yeah, appreciating it.
Yeah.
And after you guys all heal up and consider it a long rest because you spend a good few hours at the tavern. Do you buy rooms?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you get thrown some brass keys. They give you some rooms down the way in the tavern, and you do note that there's a larger room back there with the door is open. There's a larger bed, but it is well within the barkeep's eyesight, and he definitely had explicitly forewarned you that going there. Gonna get you booted.
Okay.
Oh yeah, doubled it. And so after not long, Arena, she goes, I think it's time to go. Will you come along? It's not too far out of town.
Of course.
Thank you. All right. And you guys journey, taking the path kind of west out of town, further, not quite towards Helmtop, but further down the path that you used to enter town, and then past that towards where Nold was described. It was actually the direction Gentel went. And you guys set up camp down this way. And Arena, she starts a small fire and takes a seat and goes, I'm not exactly sure when this should take place, but I'm sure we'll see something.
Well, you know what they say, Arena. Even the slightest whiff of cheese requires your utmost attention.
Slightest whiff of evil. We'll recheck that one.
I will. I could have sworn.
It's evil, Leander. She pulls out her book and starts flipping through. While she's doing this, she goes, you folk don't look like, you're so devoted to anything in particular. What keeps you together?
I think we each have our own devotions in a certain regard.
There's just so many peoples out there who put their faith in the gods these days. It's
disappointing.
Fair enough. In some ways, yes.
Can give Gilroy a nudge.
You're doing a lot of...
Just in that,
I am.
Not that they're all bad, but, Have a little faith in yourself.
I understand. No, trust me, I do. Though, I'm afraid the arcane hasn't been quite as it is in the history books, it seems.
Yes, well, we're working on that.
Oh, you should have seen it. There was this portal.
What?
Eyes go wide.
The ooze.
Use, yes.
That was the worst. I swear, I will cleanse that place someday.
You can't be talking about the plane of ooze.
That's the one.
It's a whole... I
Listen,
don't think you understand the scale of these things.
I understand. I understand the scale quite well. Trust me, I'll handle it someday.
Maybe I'll be at your side. But do be careful, Leander. Don't dive headfirst into anything you don't understand.
I almost did.
As a chain link. You still have that?
No, I
same-
don't.
Oh, okay.
You replaced it. The dwarf would not let him leave town with that falling apart suit of armor.
Yeah. No.
You're she finally shows the passage to Leander. Goes,
Yeah.
evil. You're a man of the wilds.
Correct. I come from the north and the west of here.
Ah, that would be one of those sanctuaries, right?
Correct.
She definitely immediately notice she's way better read than a lot of folks you've come across.
Yeah.
Like she might actually know.
Mhm.
And she goes,
Yeah, what a surprise.
yeah. And she goes, what kind of creatures are there? I hear your people live a very difficult life, and I've heard a tale of dire bears and things in caves that could tear a man to shreds, but it does have me intrigued in the storybooks.
You guys just see me shiver a little bit. You're like, yes, there are quite monstrous beasts out there. You must be careful.
Well, hopefully I'll have a man like you guiding me when I make my way towards the western forests.
Mhm.
Someone who actually knows their stuff. And what of you? What's your tale?
I'm more interested into where you're going.
Me?
Yeah, you're going to the western part?
I'm looking to find a way to, well, not exactly right the wrongs from where I come from, but to rebuild the past. Things fell apart around me one night. Now I want to see things the way they were, and I'm training up to do so.
Don't begrudge anyone a bit of hard work.
That's true. Fair enough.
Well, kind of changing the subject, and you can tell that when Leander's around her, he's a bit more aloof than
Sure.
normal, you know. It might just be more comfortable with her
Mhm.
still, or might just be trying to put off what other feelings may come.
Absolutely.
I suppose now would be the time to investigate the bridge.
And glancing over, you hear a gust of wind, and then a strange disembodied voice that seems to coalesce into an image for a moment, right up above your campsite there. And you see an image of a woman who is riding a wagon, and the wagon master is whipping at the horses, and you hear this disembodied kind of echoing voice go, "Faster! Faster now! We can make it across the bridge!" And the woman yelling, "Where's my husband? What's happening?" And then she suddenly disappears. Running up that way, the wagon, ghostly wagon riding up that way, up the river, or up the road a bit. Arena goes, I think that's a sign. Almost no doubt we should follow that.
Leander draws his sword and gets ready to
Sure. Any particular position you guys would like to take up?
The back.
With melee. Arena pretty much takes the forward position here.
Yep.
I'll be in the front as well.
Okay.
Say she's taking your spot.
So you, Erlon,
That's okay.
Leander, and Arena in the front, and then Gilroy and Melee in the back. And yeah, you guys run out onto the road and see not far down the way the woman seemingly runs off and sprints into this tower.
I'm gonna.
All the while, yeah, screaming, "Where is Oliver? What's happening?"
I'm gonna cast Divine Sense on that.
She is no doubt undead.
Yeah, a ghost.
Yeah, though the way that she appears and then just kind of fades away suggests that this is more like the echoes of a ghost,
Right.
not a
Right.
ghost itself.
They're like, images flashing from the past
Yeah,
more
it's
than like
it's
an
a memory.
Right, it's not like an active. It's like a mark they left rather than something that's still haunting this place.
Yeah. But yeah, you had noticed her run into the tower.
After you.
I'm not going first. I'm more comfortable fighting things that bleed.
Arena hits her flail against her shield, and suddenly the gauntlet of Torm starts shining rather brightly. The rest of you, torches, light spells, whatever, dark vision, but she, personally makes sure that the way forward is well lit. And you join me, Leander. I'm gonna go take a look at that.
Let's go.
And walking in there, you find a pile of bones. Like this is where a lot of the bodies from whatever event happened were disposed of. And throw me an investigation check, and Arena will support you with that, so you can roll at advantage.
Let's see what we know. That would be a 4.
Wow. That's a lot of bones.
How's it looking there?
Gilroy. Come on.
Yeah, we'll go in.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, even Melee and Erlon on the road in the dark night. Okay, so yeah, you guys make your
I
way
take a look.
on up to the tower, and yeah,
What do you make of this?
anyone can throw an investigation check if you'd like, and Arena will support you.
16.
Okay,
Oh, no.
14.
all right.
Your guard
Erlon, you find under some of the bones a scrap of cloth that depicts the same sigil.
Sigil.
Mercer would have a problem with that too. Sigil that was underneath the tavern sign. Seemingly the Starin family with that green and the blue stripes that go through it.
Okay.
It's on a tattered piece of cloth that certainly looks like a fine fabric that a noble lady would wear. Gilroy, you find a gem-encrusted bracelet, golden bracelet. It's valuable. Not super expensive gems, but it's just hanging off the wrist of one of these bones, so.
You gonna take that?
So am I looting the body?
With the
No one else
2,000.
noticed it,
Oh,
so.
okay.
Right.
Silas grabs it.
Yeah.
I'll say as I'm showing it,
Puts it in his
like to
bag.
everybody.
Actually-
probably.
You're gonna give Silas more accessories?
Yeah, there we go.
Straw hat, gold bracelet. Now he's looking like a normal. He can get in with the nobles, the common man.
Right, like he's wearing that sigil on, like. No.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Arena probably hasn't even noticed Silas yet.
No.
No.
No, you haven't brought him out in front of her in particular, unless you did.
Until now.
Yeah.
Right, I probably don't even.
So he gazes around the crumbling tower there,
Yeah, he helped me investigate.
helping you investigate. Yeah, Arena definitely gives a little look over in that direction. Goes, what the hell is that?
Well, this is Silas.
Leander, what is that? I don't know why I'm asking you. Give me a moment.
Hold on, I know what it is. It's a,
I've never read about anything quite like that.
it's one of Gilroy's assistants.
Yes.
He's from a school.
Of the arcane nature,
Yes.
Not just like you didn't sell your soul to that thing. or
No.
anything
Oh,
like that,
goodness.
right?
No.
Okay.
No, no, no.
You
That's,
know I wouldn't let that happen.
I would hope not. Well, as long as it's under control, I suppose.
He's harmless. Look at him.
Kind of like one of his smaller eyeballs. Doing a little bit.
And that's when you guys notice, running about out there seems to be the image of this woman. Though she runs towards the river over in this direction, up this way. And then, seemingly, for a moment, you see the image of her in the wagon veer off of the bridge and slam into the river with the mists of water spraying everywhere about. And then her body coalesces on top of the bridge, and she seems much more like she's in control instead of an image of the past.
I'm not going first.
Yeah.
Well, Arena's moving up.
That's
Yeah,
what
sure.
I was gonna say. Let the cleric.
Leander alongside?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be right behind them.
So you guys approach. Arena holds up her flail, and there's a flash of divine light from it, which hits the ghost, but doesn't seem to drive it away.
Mhm.
Instead, it now kind of has you have its attention. And Arena goes, "Speak!" And the ghost goes, "I am Ara Seren, the nobility of Loten. Not long ago, my men and my family were driven out of town and brought to their untimely end here. It was the doings of the Midnight Court, as well as the temple. Some in the temple are treacherous, working among them. My husband, my children, my entire family and legacy gone in one night. And I would only be at peace if I knew that the men who tried to save me and brought me here were brought to rest. But every cloudy, starless evening, they awaken, attempt to defend the bridge again and make their stand to save my life, which is long past. Will you put them to rest?" And as she's saying this, you note a few skeletons. And by a few skeletons, I mean a freaking ton of skeletons start crawling out of the dirt around here. Across the way, down the... There's skeletons everywhere.
Skeleton.
Yeah, there's more. They start crawling out of the ground. They have rusty hatchets and old, worn-down, dirty armor, and they're all looking at you with this angry red in their eyes, as if they're reliving this dangerous past where they held off the bridge while the lady tried to flee town. And you find yourselves slowly more and more surrounded. Arena lifts her shield and starts swinging her flail in preparation, and the ghost fades away with a, "Do this for me, and you will be rewarded." And I think that's where we're going to leave off, is with you guys surrounded by the skeletal army that is just raising, clawing out of the ground, bursting from the dirt, and at the ready for combat. Hope you guys had a good time with episode 4 of the Lands of Alaire. TJ, you want to recap whatever we got?
In terms of plugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So this is shot live after hours in our comic and game shop, the Freakopolis Geekery in Whitehall, New York. We're open 5 days a week. We have all sorts of D&D stuff, collectible card games, comics, coloring books, tabletop games, lots of good stuff that you can find either at facebook.com/Freakopolis, I think, Instagram at Freakopolis Geekery, Twitter at Freakopolis, YouTube /Freakopolis Network, Twitch.tv/Freakopolis. You search Freakopolis online, you're probably going to find our very own comic and game shop. So stop in anytime. Usually Ian and I are behind the counter, and we'll be happy to talk any sort of nerdy stuff with you.
Totally.
Or check us out online at any social media or at freakopolis.com. And then we also are joined by...
I'm Aaron.
Yeah.
And
Joined by gaming. We raise money for, well, we try and promote a lot of positivity within the gaming community. Try and be inclusive, and all games are good games for people.
Yeah.
And we raise money for a local hospital in Albany. So if you want to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/joinedbygaming, or Instagram, we have links on there for how you can donate.
Yeah, so check out Joined by Gaming, Instagram or Facebook. Search that. That should be these guys. And yeah, you can make a donation for children's hospitals. It doesn't get much better than that.
Also want to shout out thank you to Dad,
Oh yeah.
our father.
Does all the technical on this and really makes it a great show.
For sure.
It couldn't be possible without him. And of course, a thank you to everyone who drops down at the shop, enjoys our content online, and likes the Lands of Alaire. It means a lot to us, and we hope to see you next week for episode 5, where hopefully we live through this undead horde. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.